Namaskar, welcome to Navavimash podcast. So, Lal Salam to everybody. Today, we are in solidarity with the Venezuelan people. I am wearing black today, not Girua
For the first
saffron.
time, I think the right wing and left wing, I mean, the uh, whatever extreme right wing and extreme left wing, they are joining hand together against the American imperialism and its
Yes, yes,
atrocity.
yes, yes. We want to join the JNU comrades, our JNU comrades.
Yes.
So, as you can see from the uh, thumbnail and the title, that we have seen, correct, this is not the first time the American establishment, okay, has been doing this to the South American continent and also in the Middle East for 1970s, even 50s onwards. CIA and others have played a very important role in this, but
Right.
because the American empire is coming to an end, okay, and they know that their leverage is going to be reduced and reduced, and they'll only be left with as a regional power status in coming 5 to 10 years. So now they are doing it blatantly. So the actually, Vijita, I was talking about you, correct? We were discussing about this, that how Mr. Muhammad Yunus, okay,
Hmm.
the butcher of Hindus of Bangladesh, okay, after 5th August, who was given a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what he has done to get a peace prize, but he was
No,
given a peace
Yunus got
prize.
the actually Yunus got it long ago for this Grameen Bank. He got it in economics, by the way.
So why he was given that's what I'm saying. Why he was given a peace prize for reason I don't know. Okay, but anyway, that is a template which is through NGOs propping up
Recently,
assets
Venezuela
within.
Venezuela opposition got a peace prize, right?
Yes. So the lady is also
This
there in the
woman
thumbnail.
Maria Corina Machado या Macado जो भी है,
Hmm.
she got
and
this
and
peace
a
prize.
lot
So
of and a lot of people. So
Donald Trump gave it to her actually in a way कि ये मेरा peace prize
yeah.
बनने वाला था. But then Maria actually whatever dedicated or I don't know shared. I mean it's not sharing, but she said कि अच्छा ठीक है, this is due to Donald Trump, and I think she gave some attribution to Donald Trump after she got the Peace
um,
Prize. I think last year, 2025 Nobel Prize. In fact, she got it for establishing democracy in Venezuela.
no, I think Donald Trump loves too much oil, so that's why he gave away his peace prize to the Venezuelan opposition leader.
Yes, wherever oil is
So
found, democracy loses its status.
juice, it loses its juice. Uh, so today we are going to talk about what's happening. Okay, a lot of people who listen to us or who are new to us, we do these discussions on a daily basis or a weekly basis. We do podcasts as well. So do subscribe to our channel. Also support us if you see our content, like our content, because we do research based book reading sessions, discussions, and we are an independent voice, correct? We are a very small voice but an independent voice. So to speak the truth, we need your help to actually let this become a bigger voice for the common people. We are not affiliated to anybody. We speak our mind the way we think it is. So subscribe, share our content, and let's start with Jidda.
Sure. So basically, as you know, I think it happened yesterday in our time. So
Hmm.
in our time, it was yesterday morning, so to say, morning, yeah, around noon or so. US nakedly invaded Venezuela and they captured the president Maduro. And so it was a very swift operation. So everything I think took around 30 to 40 minutes. So this guy was, so there are different accounts. Someone is saying he was with his wife in their bedroom, and then they basically got picked from there. There are other accounts which are saying he was within a vault that was within some. a bunker, and that vault was having a very thick layer of metal clad actually. But then the US Army, what they could do, they could penetrate. And then from that wall, they captured Maduro. And then I think they picked him in a helicopter to basically then yeah. So from there, what they are doing actually, they kept the Maduro in some US Navy ship, and probably he's being exported to USA. Okay. So
Yes.
the reason,
So
basically, whatever the reasons that are basically being said by the US as the rationale behind this invasion was that Venezuela is not okay. First of all, they had these huge oil sort of refineries and everything, and the oil mines, so to say, but which were basically established and founded by these US companies, Joe actually, which got later. One sec. Can you hear me?
yes, yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, Vijitda, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. I am audible. You are audible. Go ahead. Yeah, I think Vijitda is having some technical issue. But for the latest things, correct. So now we see the media reports are coming in that U.S. strikes on Venezuela live. Nicolas Maduro in New York jail. Venezuelan celebrates in South Florida. So hmm, okay. So we are seeing correct. This is the playbook being done. Correct. So and we also have this book. So let me actually discuss this as well. This is very important because we read a lot of books, and this book was written in 2021, and I had read this book as well in our podcast as well in our reading sessions. So India and the changing world order. So the way things are moving, especially 2025. Yes, Vijitda.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Right, right. So basically, yeah, the rationale behind this invasion, as provided by USA, was first of all all these oil resources that were founded by these US companies got evicted by this guy Maduro, and actually Trump is claiming it was our resources, but due to the nationalization of the resources, the US companies got evicted, uh, which was which actually made USA very unhappy. Secondly, the second reason that they are saying is that the drug issue, Venezuela is actually exporting drugs to United States because it has a very corrupt regime that want to destroy USA. And third reason that they are saying is that Venezuela is actually, the democracy is at peril in Venezuela because this guy Maduro is a dictator essentially who doesn't care about elections. So all these elections are being rigged and these elections are being stolen, right? You know this language, right? This kind of language are being used in India time and again by the opposition parties, and you know this guy. Like for example, Raga is saying this quite often that elections are. Although recently, I think there was a survey in Karnataka, as per which 84% of all the people, at least in Karnataka, they are happy, and this was revealed by some Congress leader himself. 84% of
Yes,
these people of Karnataka people are saying ki election is in Karnataka or in India they are not rigged as claimed by these by Raga, the opposition leader of the Congress, right? In spite of that, so similar template, similar narrative was being peddled by the opposition leader in Venezuela, namely Maria Corina Machado or Machado, I don't know. So we are going to call her Machado actually because उन्होंने मचा ही दिया है. ठीक है. So Maria Corina Machado actually is saying ki, she was saying for a long time ki the election is being stolen, and she's fighting for the democracy in Venezuela and all these things. So basically, it is clear, very clear now, that she was probably a stooge. In all probability, she is a US stooge. And also, you should know that in 2025, this Marina Corina Machado or Macado, she got a Nobel Prize, for Nobel Peace Prize actually, which Donald Trump was fighting for a very long time. And after she got the Nobel Prize, I think whatever she attributed it or dedicated it to Donald Trump. So obviously there is a very clear alliance, or at least alienation, or not alienation, but lineation between Maria Corina Machado and Donald Trump, which is very much visible. So yeah, so these are basically the narratives peddled by the United States so that they could invade Venezuela to capture what, and to establish what? First of all, to establish quote unquote democracy, and establish their supremacy over these oil resources in Venezuela. Because you know that in Venezuela, they have the largest, they actually are the largest resource of the petro oil, right? So obviously they were in. So recently, what happened? Venezuela was establishing great relationship with China. They started to, I mean, trade the oil for yuan, Chinese yuan, and they were this guy Maduro was actually trying to, obviously he was trying to evade the international transaction through dollar, right? So he was probably one of the biggest agents to accelerate this de-dollarization process. Now, what is de-dollarization? So okay, so we should discuss some history here, which is that, so you know that currency. What is currency? Currency is basically a notional, right? So you have a note, right? On that note, you have some value written, ki 10 rupees, let's say. Now, that value that is assigned to that note, it is based on trust, right? Trust on whom? Trust on the authority. In this case, the Reserve Bank of India, in our case. In the case of United States, it is the Federal Reserve, for example, who actually controls how many notes will be printed, for example, who decide the various kind of lending, various kind of rates, for example, treasury rate, repo rate, and all these things. It is this central bank, in this case Federal Reserve for the case of United States, they decide. So basically the central bank who decide the flow of money in the market of a country, it is the trust on that institution, right? That central bank, so to say. Now, because that trust is there, what do you get in exchange? So when I'm saying ki, okay, I am holding this note which is of value, let's say 10 rupees or $10. If I'm having a $10 note, I can go to Federal Reserve, I can submit it, and they are compelled to give me $10 worth of gold in return. So this is called pegging of the currency. Okay. Now, so what happened? So uh, before 1974, dollar used to be pegged with gold. After 1974, there were a few reasons for which the US currency got pegged with oil. So you can find various rationale for it. Maybe things like, okay, gold obviously it is a precious metal, but then there are more sort of, so to say, dynamic wealth or asset such as oil, right? Oil has, maybe in modern day economy, it has greater utility than gold, and it is more sort of, okay, liquid, in the sense it is more liquid than gold, in the sense that it is, अगर इतना सा gold आपको बेचना है, then it is relatively difficult, because not many people have that much money to buy 1 kg of gold, but many people have, for example, have the ability to buy 1 kilo, whatever, 1 liter of oil, right? Which mean ki it has better liquidity. Okay, it is more liquid than gold, and it is, again, it is dynamic, right? Because pretty much the whole of industry, the whole of power sector. So pretty much our livelihood depend on oil, for example. So with that narrative, what Nixon and Kissinger, Nixon was the president in 1974. Kissinger was his, what do you call it? Videsh Mantri कहते हैं. I think they call it, they have a name for it. It's not foreign minister, but Ministry of something. I have to.
No, no,
Secretary
I
of
think
Defense? No, 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 no. Just
Secretary of
find it,
State.
okay?
Secretary of
Secretary
State.
of State.
Secretary of
Ha, exactly. So Nixon and Kissinger, they actually decided that they are going to peg, they will stop pegging the dollar with gold. They are going to instead peg it to oil. Okay. Now, when you peg the dollar to oil, there is a issue. What is the issue? Which mean ki oil price can fluctuate. Okay, hugely depending on the supply. So let's say if you have, let's say one oil. So let's say there is one source of oil, okay, one unit source of oil, and now you have a new oil source discovered. Okay, now if they are of equal capacity in terms of production, then obviously the supply will double once you find a new source of production, right? Which mean if the supply increases, then the price will go down. So if you peg a currency to oil, if the supply goes up, right, then the value of the oil go down, and if it has a positive correlation with the currency, then the value of that currency will also go down. Which means you have to have a control over the supply of oil. Okay, and this is the reason why, and this is so much contentious, right? In the sense ki if something is discovered in Russia or India, first of all, in Middle East they formed a organization called OPEC. Okay, just to control the supply of oil. कि हम लोग इससे ज़्यादा we are not going to extract more than this much amount of oil. Okay. Also, so in terms of, let's say, oil reserve, there are other forward contract. I'm not going into that much detail of finance, but the point is that you have to manage, you have to control all the. If you are pegging your currency with oil, right, and then dollar became the currency of international trade, so you have to have control over all of this. And moreover, you have to, more than anything, you have to have control over the oil production and oil export. Okay. Now, if there is a country with that huge amount of resource, at least in petro oil, like Venezuela, which is more than even, I think, Saudi Arabia, and then they are evading this the trade in dollar, then obviously it will affect the value of the dollar. Okay, so that's why they needed to assume the control over these the oil production and everything in Venezuela. Okay, Venezuela is also a big producer of gold. They have huge gold mines as well. So this was the main reason due to which Trump had to invade this Venezuela, right? Now, obviously, this thing happened before as well. You know that in 2000, I think, before 2000, Iraq, I think it was 2000 exactly, 2080, when Iraq was being ruled by Saddam Hussein, who actually started to, who planned and who announced he is going to trade oil for euro. Okay. Then he got invaded. So the narrative was peddled that Iraq is producing the weapon of mass destruction, etc. And so he invaded Iraq and obviously assumed, USA invaded Iraq and assumed control over the oil production of Iraq. Libya of Gaddafi, right, Muammar Gaddafi, he wanted to introduce African gold dinar, where he started to, so he said he is going to peg the currency of this African dinar to gold. Okay, just to evade again this trade in dollar. And then you know what happened to Gaddafi, he got lynched, right? So basically all these processes, when you peg your currency to this thing called oil, um and now you don't have, let's say, I mean, now that de-dollarization process are also being accelerated by by clusters like like BRICS, for example, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and then other countries like Saudi Arabia, they are also joining. And this BRICS is now being BRICS Plus, who are actually talking about BRICS currency, where all these BRICS nations are going to have trade in that BRICS currency and going to evade dollar. So all these things are actually challenging the supremacy of dollar in international trade, and which mean it is bad news for USA. You can ask ki, yaar, if let's say the international trade are not being happening with dollar, what is the problem with USA? I mean, obviously you pegged your currency to something, and then you assured that much value. You have that much value in your vault in Fed Reserve. What's the problem if they are going to submit the and these dollars, the dollar reserve to the Fed, and instead they are going to get equal amount of gold with it? You are anyway getting the dollar with which you can buy the gold. What's the problem here? Currency anyway is a very liquid instrument. So what's the problem? The problem here is that recently in USA the inflation is actually roaring, and it is rising sky high. Okay, so because the inflation is rising high, what you could do, you could print more dollar. Now you can ask, okay, if I print more dollar, more currency, more notes, it is going to lead to more and more inflation. But USA had a vent through which they could export this inflation. Because dollar is an international currency, you print more and more dollar, but then you export these dollars globally. So in this way, you can export the inflation so that the pressure being built on dollar inside United States, it actually reduces. And so it happened in COVID, as you know, they basically printed dollar, and they started to basically just मतलब लोगों के जो बैंक अकाउंट थे वहां पे they started to dump the dollar during the COVID time. Countries like India or any other country like China cannot do that, because if you print more and more rupee, for example, it is going to increase the inflation, right? Just like what happened in countries like Turkey or many countries in Europe for that matter. Okay. And so that's the problem. So in USA, you need, by the way, so printing money and then giving it to the poor people was the idea of Abhijit Banerjee, who got Nobel Prize in economics, I think somewhere in 2015-16 or so, okay, at that time. So it is a Nobel Prize winning economist who opined that India should print more and more rupees. Just imagine how stupid that idea could have been for India, okay? Because these guys are basically US stooge and nothing else. That's why they probably get Nobel Prize for. Um, yeah, I mean, if you read his books, he worked a lot on poverty economics and all these things. I've read the books, but I mean, I work in finance, but I was not particularly impressed with the ideas those were being peddled. I mean, he basically, if you
Bijitda.
if you go through those books, you can clearly see that they have done some basic surveys based on which they are basically showing some results. So again, for Abhijit Banerjee, also probably the Nobel Prize was given with a specific purpose. Okay, I mean, I'm being very bold here in stating those kind of things, but he lost all the respect when he said ki India should print more and more money just like US has done. Yeah,
Yeah, Bijitda. So the only people who reduce their poverty are the development economist.
as in,
See, the only people who write papers on development economics and poverty,
right.
only those people who write the papers and books and policies, they get rich, but all the other people for whom it is written,
Acha.
they remain poor.
Agreed. So that's the reality, right? That's the reality of it. And all these things are going on actually. So yeah, so as we were discussing, they needed to invade Venezuela because Venezuela is in the sphere of USA, right? Right opposite the Gulf of Mexico, which was recently named Gulf of America, Gulf of USA, I guess, by Trump. Uh, so Basically, this was the country which was in America and were giving khula chunati, open threat to USA's hegemony. Right? We can't print unlimited currency because we need to up the fiscal investment and need to create instruments for the poverty to invest in public works. Okay, yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, currency is the central and the most liquid instrument, right? So you can do a lot of things around currency, and there are a lot of reasons for which, because a lot of everything pretty much depend, the whole of economy depend on currency. You have to regulate currency in some way, right? When you talk about a free market, right? Ideally, what should a free market have? Key complete, you should have all the assets and everything which are moderately liquid, and you can exchange it without the intervention of the government, right? It means, so even in a free market, even then you need to regulate the currency, right? Because it is the central and the most liquid instrument, so you have to protect it somehow. Okay, so now, okay, so this thing happened ki, the same effort uh, was tried by Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi, and they got punished for that. Recently, again, जैसे ब्रिक्स बन रहा है, the countries like, let's say, Saudi Arabia, they are also trying to sort of escape this. Hello. So they are also trying to escape this Maya Jal, right, of dollar, petrodollar. But it is again what USA has shown this through this naked aggression is the fact that no matter what you do, you have to stay under the US hegemony. Otherwise, you will be punished big time. Okay, for doing such sort of bravado, trying that sort of bravado with your resources, with your trade, etc. Okay. Now, this is not to say that the decline of USA's petrodollar empire is going to end anytime sooner. I mean, obviously, you know that de-dollarization process is happening. This was probably, I don't know, um, US is trying to halt it through these kind of naked aggression, but you know the other countries and their trades are actually going up as compared to their trades with USA. So chances are that de-dollarization process will be accelerated, but before it was being led by China, and now probably that sort of, if I mean, obviously China will be a big factor, but it China, see, in this whole thing, what China has done, Chinese delegation was there actually. They held a meeting that day with this guy Maduro. But while this delegation was there in Venezuela, Caracas, I guess, is the capital. This thing happened. Okay, this invasion, US invasion happened. Joe
Afternoon,
actually,
afternoon. They
so
had a
the whole
held a meeting
delegation
in the
was there.
afternoon.
Even they did not leave Venezuela. So what happened was that China has lost their face big time. Okay, which is leading to the fact that now the all these small countries which used to venture before to ally with China in order to destroy the US and the dollarization and US hegemony, they are going to hesitate a little bit. Now, Russia was also in support of Venezuela, but probably some deal has happened between Trump and Putin. Putin will take care of Ukraine, and Trump is not going to say anything about it. Trump is going to take care of Venezuela, and Putin is not going to say about anything about it. Putin is not going to stand against Trump on this issue
No,
with.
I don't think Putin is in on it. I think this is
No, no,
between.
I'm just saying, I'm just projecting. I mean, just like you are saying, I'm just assuming a lot of things. Why I'm saying that? I'm
Hmm.
saying that because before, whenever this attack used to happen, uh, NATO actually, US used to say, ki, okay, NATO has invaded this place or that place, like Iraq or Libya for that matter. Now, NATO के जो countries है, जैसे Great Britain भी हो गया, इन्होंने they actually shred off their responsibility from this. कि we have not done anything. Probably because they know कि this sort of pact between Putin and Trump, the Aghoshit undeclared pact between Trump and Putin has happened, due to which Ukraine is in has gone to gutter. Okay, Probably this thing happened. That's why NATO countries are actually distancing themselves from US on the Venezuela issue. So that's
No,
my
I think
hunch.
no, I think NATO has no space in South America because again, it's a North Atlantic treaty organization, right? So they can't
No,
really
see, NATO
affect
is effectively managed by Trump. I mean USA.
the US.
So
I get that.
they don't have much command over Europe. If you can see कि उनके आर्मी भी इतना छोटा पड़ गया है कि यूएस को संभालना पड़ता है.
नहीं, but
तो
उनका
नेटो
sphere of
नेटो फॉर ऑल
influence
दैट
South
मैटर
America नहीं
इफेक्टिवली
जाता.
मींस
No,
इफेक्टिवली
they have
मींस
no
यूएस.
role in South America. They literally have no. Like you'll never see them in any
No,
conversation about
it's
South America.
see whenever NATO जो जो ट्रूप भेजा जाता है उसमें 95 सोल्जर्स और यूएस सोल्जर्स, पांच
Yeah, I
छोटे
get that.
मोटे ट्रूप
I'm
होता है
saying
वो
why they're not
बेसिकली
spoken about South,
ब्रिटेन और फ्रांस
but
का होता है.
Venezuela does that because it's it's not within their sphere of influence. I
ना
think
स्फीयर ऑफ
secretly what's
इन्फ्लुएंस की
happened
बात नहीं,
is
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि यूएस जहाँ पे भी अटैक करता है,
no, I get
ठीक है,
that.
वहां पे वो
I'm accepting that.
एटलीस्ट नेटो का नाम लेता है कि नेटो ने ये करा है. यहाँ पे क्या हुआ है, यहाँ पे बेसिकली नेटो के जो कंट्रीज है दे आर डिस्टेंसिंग देमसेल्व्स. सो दैट्स अ वेरी
No,
वियर्ड थिंग. पहले क्या होता था, पहले
no, I
ब्रिटेन आ
tell you
गया,
why.
अरे
No,
इराक
no,
को
no.
हम.
They are not distancing themselves. They are actually worried because see what does happen. What happens here is when he can go into a country saying it's a matter of national security, it's a matter of drug smuggling, blah blah blah, all the things he's mentioning. When he can invade a country, sovereign country, without any from his own parliament, right? It basically says Russia can do the same shit. So NATO is worried now. Now you understand all of Europe is worried right now
बट दे
because
हैव
now
ऑलरेडी डन इट
Putin.
बिफोर.
That may be true, but you're saying you understand. They were building the idea that Putin did a war crime. Now the minute this happened, Russia can literally say, "You did the same thing like that." Well, just
हाँ
now,
तो वही तो
so I
बोल
can
रहा
go
हूँ.
to Ukraine anytime I want. I
एग्जैक्टली.
personally think what's happened. What let me see. What I think has happened is much the Maduro's next level, like the ek bandi, I forgot her name. She has done a deal with the US saying, you throw this guy out. It's okay, I don't want him anymore. I will give you free oil. I can't survive this communism shit anymore.
राइट,
I
द
want to
मारिया
make money
पोलिना.
off my life. And so she's like, you take the oil and you तो हम सारे गोरे लोग हैं who control this country. The indigenous people are weak. We will enjoy the money. एक साथ we'll make money from the oil. That's it. That's what I think.
राइट.
Because that's why he's anti Machado. He's anti. Trump said the lady who won the elections, I don't want her back. I want this person, this dictator to continue, the second level dictator. Because you can
राइट.
control a dictator, you can't control a democratic elected person. Especially
राइट.
one that is close to Europe, not close to America. She's closer to Europe, by the way.
बट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, ये जो जो भी बनाया हुआ है, यूएन हो जाए, नेटो हो जाए,
Hmm.
these are all sort of hegemonic power. So the way you are seeing the whole thing ना कि there are some morals, मोरल के
Hmm.
हिसाब से ये लोग तोलते हैं, मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं लगता ये मोरल्स के हिसाब से चीजों को तोलते हैं. दे डोंट नीड टू एस्टेब्लिश एनी मोरल इक्विवेलेंस. दे डोंट नीड. अब जब रशिया यूक्रेन को इन्वेड नहीं किया था तब इराक पे हमला नहीं हुआ था क्या, वेपन ऑफ मास डिस्ट्रक्शन के नाम पे? तब तो
Hmm.
रशिया कहीं था नहीं, तब रशिया यूक्रेन का झगड़ा तो था नहीं, तब रशिया यूक्रेन का झगड़ा अभी उसके क्रीमिया के बाद 20 मतलब पहले से था, बट ये अटैक वैटैक जंग तो नहीं था ना. क्रीमिया 2014 में हुआ, उससे पहले इराक में हमला हुआ, उससे पहले लिबिया में हमला हुआ. सी
Yeah.
ये जो हमला होता है दे डू इट एंड दे से कि नेटो भी हमारे साथ है. नेटो आ जाता है, नेटो वही कि 100 अगर बंदा है, 100 सोल्जर है, उसमें 5 सोल्जर नेटो का होता है. मोस्टली दीज आर हमला बाय यूएस, ठीक है, जस्ट टू एस्टेब्लिश द यूएस हेजिमनी. यहाँ पे लेकिन नेटो या फिर नेटो का जो बाकी कंट्रीज है दे आर नॉट ओनिंग इट बिकॉज दे सी कि अरे कि रशिया और इनके बीच कुछ पैक्ट हो गया है. मोरल इक्विवेलेंस के लिए ये नहीं है. दिस इज नाउ दे आर थिंकिंग फिर यूरोप कहाँ जाएगा, ठीक है. दे आर थिंकिंग पुतिन और ट्रम्प के बीच कुछ पैक्ट हो गया है तो शायद ट्रम्प ने छोड़ दिया पुतिन के हाथों जो यूक्रेन का जो बर्बादी है वो करने दो. Trump is no more bothered about it. ये सोच के नाउ नेटो आर एक्चुअली नेटो पीपल आर वॉकिंग ऑफ. मुझे ये लगता है. अच्छा, और एक दो पॉइंट में क्विकली एड्रेस कर देता हूँ. ये भी कहा जा रहा है कि डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प ही इज ट्राइंग टू डाइवर्ट द अटेंशन फ्रॉम एप्स्टीन फाइल्स, ठीक है, क्योंकि अभी एप्स्टीन फाइल रिलीज हुआ है. एंड ऑल्सो देयर आर रूमर्स दैट there are some files which actually gives the testimony or whatever proof कि Donald Trump was basically a rapist or something like that, ठीक है? तो उसके उससे ध्यान हटाने के लिए now Trump needed something very big. So this was something that he could pull off and he did it. ठीक है. So insult to China जैसे बोला कि Chinese delegation was even there when all this happened, and the operation was very swift. It took 30 to 40 minutes to bring Maduro from his vault or bunker to be picked up by helicopter and then taken to the US Navy ship. So no small country will ever be persuaded by China again for some time to go directly against the will of Uncle Sam, right? China has proven that China will leave you when push comes to shove. They are never going to bleed with you when America knocks with US military on your doorstep. So this is a lesson for all those small countries. This obviously affects the oil diplomacy in the Middle East, intervention of China in the affairs of Middle East and especially Iran. So it proves how isolated Iran actually is and how China is never going to come to save the Irani mullah regime when US and Israel come to attack Iran, if that ever happens, right? Now, the next point is that the narrative of this democratic decline is being peddled by Raga of our Congress, right, to various world leaders. And as you know, Raga went to United States and he basically asked for foreign intervention to India to
Hmm.
establish democracy. This thing has already happened, and I mean, the current government is not saying anything about it, is not taking any step. Come on, India is such a big global power, and if you're a global power, you have to do something against this guy. Now, this current central government by BJP, they are not willing to take any. ये जैसे मनमोहन वाला फेज आ गया है अभी इंडिया में कि
नहीं
कोई
नहीं नहीं.
कोई भी कुछ भी चल रहा है. लेट मी कंप्लीट ना, देन यू इंटरव्यू. तो मैं और एक पॉइंट है वो कंप्लीट कर लेता हूँ क्विकली. तो ये एक चीज आ गया है जैसे ये थोड़ा सा क्रिपलिंग जो एटीट्यूड ये दिख रहा है ना, दिस इज एक्चुअली नाउ आई बिलीव कि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट जो है उनको इसके खिलाफ आवाज उठाना चाहिए कि व्हाई डिड राहुल गांधी ask for foreign intervention to establish democracy in India. And then the final point, the from Islam dominated oil empire in Middle East, probably America is moving to local Christian oil empire. So this will potentially put the Middle East nations more vulnerable than ever before because the dependence on these OPEC countries for oil may effectively reduce in the near future. So which can open a lot of possibilities for America to explore, at least in the Middle East, for example. Ha, Anand, please.
So the I'm going to get take them what earlier want. So first is see, I don't think there's a pact between Trump and Putin. Personally, I just think what has happened is that Trump realizes his negotiations with Putin are going nowhere. He can he can do little to achieve his aims from Ukraine, right? And Lindsey Graham needs another war or needs another thing to fight about, to scream and shout, "Oh, I'm a neocon! Look at how great neocon I am!" So he went after Venezuela because Lindsey Graham is very happy about that as well. He was like literally saying, "Oh, great job, right?" But the problem fundamentally, like you were saying about the American, like I don't know, not really Christian empire. It's more like a white rich empire right now. If you notice, because you see all the places they're targeting are run. The elites are mainly white people, so-called
Yes.
white people, if you would call them. They're not technically white people, but okay. So it's Venezuela, Argentina, Colombia, right? All the elites there are all white, and they're building their power bases there. So that's what it's going to be. The poor Christian there, the indigenous person who's converted to Christianity, he'll have not much power.
Right.
For us, one good thing is that because it is stable, we might be able to at least buy some oil from Venezuela now. We'll see what happens. But I can't say that. Okay. So my thing is that we should basically play our cards and see if we can get a deal. I think smartly
Right.
Jaishankar may go and from under the American administration, he may go and say, "Oh, let Venezuela sell oil to India." He might do something like that from his history. Uh, the last thing about this thing about Raga, yes, I agree there. For me, no. See, tomorrow, let's assume tomorrow that Congress takes over India, right? No matter what happens, I will never invite any Western nation to invade my country to liberate me from Raga. I'm sorry. That is a recipe to disaster. We should never allow this stuff in our country. We did it one time before when the British came into Bengal. We should not allow
Right.
do it, right? If we have to take out someone, we take them out ourselves. Enough with this inviting foreigners in to liberate our country and all bullshit. This is nonsense. Just replacing one colonizer with another. That's all. And Raga
But the
asking for a
Gandhi family
colonizer.
is the colonizing family, bhai. This
I know.
Gandhi family.
I'm just saying. So tomorrow, imagine tomorrow communists took over India, right? I would not want to
Right.
invite US to liberate me from the communists. I want to liberate myself from the communists. Okay. So that's very clear for me. I don't want Westerners to come and liberate me from that. Because I know what's going to happen because they ask for their pound of flesh, and the pound of flesh will be subservience. Simple as that. And now Venezuela is going to be subservient to the American empire. That's just the reality. They may be happy to lose Maduro, but they have gotten themselves a new boss. One is who's not as overt as Maduro is. But yeah, but we have to call out Rahul Gandhi, like for the fact that he keeps inviting Western powers to interfere, right? And the connections to people like Victoria Nuland and
See,
all these
we are
regime change
calling
guys.
out. We have to be very specific here. We are already calling out. The central government
But
is
not effectively
not
though.
calling
They're not
out
doing a good
this,
job. They're
the
not doing a good
mischief
job.
of this country.
They're not doing a very good job, in my opinion.
Okay, so now let me give my opinion. Okay,
Sure.
what's happening? So first of all, a lot of people are talking about BRICS currency. Okay.
Mm.
So and this one more very important question which has come. So let me first address the BRICS currency. So there, so people are looking for BRICS currency notes. Okay. Unfortunately, if there is going to be a BRICS currency, it's going to be like a like a centrally managed currency, virtual currency, not physical currency. So the BRICS countries might create a block, okay, and that block will issue a notional BRICS currency, which will be only used as a pegging order to actually do their own trade. Like now what we do is we use US dollar as the primary source, and then we peg each currency against US dollar, and then do our settlements in terms of how much money they need to pay. So in coming years, we might see a BRICS currency which is going to be exist only as a pegging currency to settle their trades or their payments, but not as a physical currency that we see as dollar we have now. The second part is why Trump is invading Venezuela right now. Okay, because the fiat currency is going to go away. Okay, the concept of fiat currency is not going to be there in next 5 years or maybe after that. That the time duration we don't know, but the fiat currency is going to go, and we are going to have currency which is which is backed by some physical assets. That could be oil, that could be gold, that could be other resource by which actually you can print more money. Okay. This notion of printing free money has to go away. So right now, commodity, copper, gold, silver, oil, all the other things, correct? Commodities are going to be very important for countries to print currency so that they have a backing. So that could be one of the very important reason why Trump is claiming that the oil of Venezuela belongs to US, because the 38 trillion dollar debt which America owes. And one more data which I saw actually in the P Guru's channel last night. Apart from $38 trillion debt which the American system has, there are also unfunded $200 trillion of obligations which American government establishment has committed to its citizens. That includes the healthcare, social security. So what? So correct. Correct. There's a concept of 401k. I think a lot of people know about it. 401k, and so 401k, the social security, healthcare, those have, there is no money allocated for these. Whatever money is collected from the American citizens to provide them pensions, healthcare, Medicare when they retire, that is not there, and that liability is $200 trillion. So America needs physical resources like gold, oil, whatever resources, commodities, to actually shore up its own currency. So that's why we have put the oil as the oil tap, because that's a very important resource in coming, let's say, 50 years. And the last question, which I think was a good thing, that was, would he go for Iran next? No, because in Iran it's going to be like a revolution. There will be no military. Even if there is a military intervention, it's there is very rare that there will be a military intervention. The remember when Israel did the strikes, uh, the military strikes by their jet planes. They had actually already eliminated a lot of top tier leadership of the IRGC. Okay, so their military leadership. So that's already gone. So now it's just waiting for the internal revolution to take place, and the mullah regime will be replaced. See, mullah regime will not be absolutely removed. The top leadership will not be mullahs, but in one way or the other, the mullah regime will continue with
See, the point is
replaced by.
the warfare will continue. So now the economic warfare is working fine. So they are happy
Hmm.
with the economic warfare. Obviously, they will have a watch on the nuclear resources and everything. But economic
Yeah, yeah,
warfare
yeah. The
is
top
giving
tier
them
leadership.
result now. If once Iran becomes stable, then they will start about naked warfare, physical warfare. Okay.
In
So
Middle
right
East,
now they will
in
focus on the economic warfare and creating riots and all these sort of protest and all these things because it is working right now. And also Trump had, I think, tweeted that okay, you cannot shoot on those protesters, right? You cannot kill those protesters. So let them protest, or I will whatever punish you. So obviously they want Iran to destabilize because it is in their interest, right? तो जब ये अगर ईरान स्टेबल होने लगे, अगर कभी होने लगा, तो फिर वो फिर फिजिकल वॉरफेयर की बात करेंगे.
No, Bijidda. See, Iran is the Shia pole in terms of politics. So US actually never liked, so against Saudi Arabia and UAE. Okay, so you need a Shia equivalent of power. So that's why Iran will never be destabilized,
No, the
because
point here
they need.
is I am saying this because there was this
Hmm,
यूएस का जो मिलिट्री एक कोई तो कमांडर है आई थिंक
hmm,
ये पीटर हिग्सेट जो भी था जो मेन बंदा है
hmm.
वो अपने हाथ में या कहीं पे तो काफिर लिख के रखा है सो सो दिस यूएस एटलीस्ट मतलब एज दे अंडरस्टैंड इट दे आर फाइटिंग दे वांट टू फाइट अगेंस्ट इस्लाम तो उन्हें शायद फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि शिया शिया सुन्नी दोनों को मतलब खत्म करना शायद इनका मोटिवेशन हो सकता है सो इट्स नॉट लाइक कि वो शिया को रखेंगे या वे सुन्नी को रखेंगे या दोनों को रखेंगे दे आर नॉट लुकिंग लाइक दैट मतलब फॉर दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ मिशन इन व्हाट आई अंडरस्टैंड they themselves they want to portray themselves as kafir not alliance of Saudi Arab or anything, right? Because you know they already bombed Iran, the strategic bases, nuke bases, and all those places. So they say see themselves as kafir, and they are going to fight the jung, the war as kafir only. That's my projection. Later, I know very little about all those things. So
Yeah. Now, Maga Ka Baja and Rishi. Okay, they are on mute. Okay.
अ, नमस्कार आप सभी को।
Namaskar.
namaste.
अ,
Namaste.
तो मैं
Welcome,
कह
Maga
रहा
Ka
था
Baja.
अब मागा का बजा बाजा। तो मैं कह रहा था कि ये जैसे मागा मूवमेंट शुरू हुआ था उसमें वो बहुत ही एंटी इंटरवेंशनिस्ट एटीट्यूड लेके आगे बढ़े थे वो लोग कि हम लोग इंटरवेंशन नहीं करेंगे दूसरे देशों में। तो क्या लगता है कि ये सब के बाद अब ये जो मागा मूवमेंट से जो मोह भंग होगा अमेरिका की जनता का, क्योंकि जब आप इन्वेड कर रहे हैं और दूसरों के रिजीम चेंज ऑपरेशंस कर रहे हैं, कैसे मतलब डायरेक्टली या इनडायरेक्टली, तो क्या मागा मूवमेंट को लेकर जो लोगों में इतना उत्साह है वो भंग होगा या नहीं? ये एक पहला प्रश्न है। दूसरा प्रश्न है कि ये घटना से तेल के दामों में कोई अंतर पड़ेगा वैश्विक स्तर पर? क्या लगता है आप लोगों को कि तेल के दाम बढ़ेंगे, घटेंगे, क्या होगा? तीसरा कि अब नेटो की परिस्थिति क्या है? क्या नेटो को लेकर के जो विश्वास था कि हमारी देश में कोई संकट आएगा तो अमेरिका बचाने आएगा, नहीं आएगा, उसकी स्थिति आपको क्या लगती है नेटो की? क्योंकि ताइवान वगैरह के घटना में या बहुत सारी घटना में जिसको अमेरिका ने एक प्रकार से वचन दिया था कि यदि आपको कोई संकट में डालता है या आप पर आक्रमण करता है तो हम लोग आपकी रक्षा में आएंगे, पर हमें बहुत सारे घटनाओं में दिखा कि अमेरिका रक्षा करने नहीं आया। और और एक प्रश्न है कि डॉलर की स्थिति, अभी दादा बोल रहे थे फियाट करेंसी से अब हम लोग फिजिकल कमोडिटी बेस्ड करेंसी में जाएंगे, जैसे पहले गोल्ड पर आधारित हुआ करता था डॉलर। तो वो मुझे लगता है ये जो उन्होंने किया ना रशिया के साथ की स्विफ्ट पेमेंट सिस्टम पर बैन लगा दिया था रशिया पर, तो मुझे लगता है वहां से उन्होंने एक क्रिया चालू कर दी कि लोगों का डॉलर पर से विश्वास उठने लग गया। तो अब क्या है कि वो अंधाधुंध डॉलर छाप नहीं सकते, क्योंकि दूसरे देश अब दूसरे-दूसरे करेंसी में ट्रेड कर रहे हैं। जो पहले अंधाधुंध डॉलर छापकर पूरे विश्व के रिसोर्सेज पर इनका कब्जा हो जाता था, अब वो हो नहीं रहा। तो क्या ऐसा होगा भविष्य में कि बहुत सारे अस्थिरता आने वाली है, जैसे युद्ध युद्ध वगैरह की स्थिति बहुत बनेगी आगे जाकर, जहाँ पर एक दूसरे पर आक्रमण हो रहा है, हमले हो रहे हैं, और इस परिदृश्य में भारत क्या कर सकता है? भारत पर इसका क्या प्रभाव पड़ सकता
Anand.
Okay, so that's for me. Okay. See, I don't think, first of all, that the de-dollarization is going to happen very soon. It's going to take a lot of time. BRICS currency
Okay,
also, like,
hold. See, we are in a very like, just understand, correct? The world de-dollarization, correct? What do you mean by this? Anand, can you explain? Like, because there is a lot of confusion in this word itself.
hmm,
De-dollarize. What does it exactly mean? Explain.
de-dollarize means that so for example, right now what's happening is we are paying for almost everything in the world using the petrodollar, because
Hmm.
lots of oil producing countries primarily sell their oil in dollars.
Hmm.
And because oil is such an important commodity that everyone needs to use, the
Hmm.
world has a large number of dollars to spend. See, what the Americans do is they're very smart. Everyone needs oil,
Hmm.
and everyone needs dollars to pay for that oil, right? So
Hmm.
what do they do?
Hmm.
They basically print currency and they sell that forex to everyone. Everyone's
Hmm.
paying
Hmm.
for that forex using something.
Hmm.
So we have a lot of we have a lot of basically dollars to spend. So that's why that's why China has so many dollars in its wallets, right? The dollar bonds. What is happening right now is people are like, I cannot even if I have dollar bonds, all America's do is basically this dollar bonds from this country are not acceptable, or not cannot be traded. So basically they've locked all of Russia's assets, they've locked all of other people's assets, which is all in dollars. So now what people are saying is that money is mine. I have fairly earned that money. US cannot keep that money away from me, my rightful money, right? So they're like, I don't want to keep my assets, the money I've earned in dollars. I want to keep it in something that I can easily trade when I want to trade, which is not being allowed to do. The Americans are not allowing you to do. So that's what de-dollarization means. De-dollarization means to move your assets from dollars into other currencies. Now, what BRICS is doing, BRICS is proposing is, so when India is trading with Russia, Russia is saying, you I'll make purchase from you, or you make purchase from me in dirhams, UAE currency, because I am able to manage a lot of my asset through the UAE. So what BRICS will do is they'll find other currencies or other transaction mechanisms to trade in other than the dollar. And America does not want this, because what has America been doing? America has been using this system of dollars to export their inflation to other countries. So they just print lots of dollars, and excess dollars they sell to other countries, and basically that way they are able to manage their economy. Their high amount of like what you call consumption with low amounts of, they do produce a lot of things as well. It's not like they don't produce stuff, but a lot of the stuff that they produce is mainly for high end countries, not for low end countries like ours. So there's imbalance of trade with most countries, right? And while Trump may be true about tariffs in some countries, most of the imbalance of trade is benefiting the Americans. They're not benefiting us. So they're afraid of the fact that they can't export their inflation anymore and sustain their high cost of living, and that's why they're going around looking for cheap sources of oil. Now, if they can make Venezuelan oil their primary source of oil, which is right what you were saying earlier, the Middle East, for example, even if the Middle East says tomorrow they want to de-dollarize and not pay for oil in the petrodollar, they can the Americans can start saying we'll start flooding the market with Venezuelan oil, right? And then basically that oil becomes the priority to buy, and you still have to pay dollars for it. So that's exactly what they're undercutting the Gulf states, because they've observed.
Okay,
They've been observing the
Anand,
behavior of.
Anand, hold on. So, correct. After the reset, correct. When the reset happens, the fiat currency concept will go. Okay. So, example, let's say America wants to print $1, correct. So it has to show some physical asset against that $1 that's going to print. So that that physical resource could be gold, it could be oil, it could be a lot of other things. Okay.
Yes.
So for that reason, correct, today Trump is claiming all the oil belongs to US because the US companies had the contract, correct?
No, not the contract. They were the ones who constructed the infrastructure. That's what he's claiming. He's making a very ridiculous claim, actually, but okay.
Yeah. So
पर
technically,
मेरा इस पर
go
वो
ahead.
प्रश्न ये था कि जब भी डॉलर डी डॉलराइज होगा, जब भी 100 साल बाद ही सही, माय पॉइंट इज विल इट बी वेरी वायलेंट? क्या वो बड़ा हिंसक होगा, विश्व
Yeah,
में
of course it
युद्ध
will.
फैलेगा?
Of course it will.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. So
और
now when we the wait. Let's
हाँ,
clear
आप
this
बोल
one. ये
लीजिए
बहुत important है
फिर।
लोगों से, बहुत important है कि understand the term and the concept of de-dollarization. What do you mean by my understanding? Okay, you can also share your opinion. De-dollarize means that dollar will cease to exist as the reserve currency of the world. That is the meaning of de-dollarization, where
Yes.
now today the reserve currency of the world is dollar. Once
No,
that ceases to exist,
de-dollarization is a process towards that. When your statement is de-dollarized world, means when at the last stage. De-dollarization is the process of getting there. But you understand one interesting thing. China holds so many dollars, right? If at any situation de-dollarization completes, all those dollars that China owns becomes worthless, and they will never want that to be worthless. So if the de-dollarization has to happen, that dollar has to be slowly sold off. Slowly transition from and China cannot get rid of so many dollars in even 10-20 years. It's not possible. So they will not want for de-dollarization. They will want de-dollarization for after maybe 100 years. So that's their focus, right? Like you're saying. But as you lose more and more dollars from China becomes more and more unstable. Assuming their economy doesn't manage to de-dollarize the way they want to, violence will be a result. And every country that is related to China is reliant on China for their manufactured goods, they will have a reduction in production, reduction in supply, and again that will cause problems. So the fundamental problem with our world right now is these two large countries, USA and China. They've created a very badly designed world trading system that only benefits both of them. And everyone else is getting squeezed. India is trying to find a way to manage this transition in a way that doesn't damage too much of our own personal lives. That's the whole reason why Modi ji is so important in focus on Atmanirbhar. not because he wants us to get rid of the Westerners or Chinese people's reliance completely, because he sees what is coming in the next 50, 60 years, right? He sees that cliff and he wants to prepare us for a smooth landing. And he's preparing the smooth landing right now for us. There will be rough waters. And if anyone who tells you there will not be rough waters, they're lying to you. Anyone who's saying that, oh, we can permanently be off US dollars is lying to you. Anyone who's telling you we'll be permanently with renminbi is lying to you. Because no matter what we do, the world is going to be connected, because our goods are going to come from all over the world. Competitive advantage is a fundamental thing in economics. No matter how much the Americans want to do America first, competitive advantage always drives business, because all resources are limited. Always, all resources are limited, right? Nothing can be unlimited. Now, the fundamental question you are asking about what will be process of de-dollarization? Large numbers, like for example, like someone asks this question, right? Will the reduction of dollars affect the Indian rupee? Oh, sorry, the BRICS currency affect the Indian rupee? First of all, there will be no BRICS currency. They may basically say we will trade commodities within our BRICS network, because for BRICS currency you need a central bank. You need assurance, like saying this is the currency I'm
The
printing. I'm
yeah, the central bank will issue a notional currency which will be just to actually adjust their trades and payments, not as a
bond.
physical currency.
They will issue bonds. They'll give issue BRICS bonds, and that BRICS bonds can be bought like in lieu of the brick currency, which is, I don't think so. BRICS is going to do that. It's going to never going to do that, because you require political stability for that, and the RIC don't have political stability at this stage, right? What they can do is inter-country trade. They can improve it with other currencies or local currencies. That's what they can do, and that will reduce the reliance on the dollar, which they're already doing right now. Which is why Trump is so upset. He's upset because the fact that we're not trading with dollars anymore. A lot of things. That's basically.
This year India is gonna be the president for BRICS, and it's supposed to be that India is gonna announce separate payment system this year. So let's wait for that surprise, and we'll see many more reactions.
I
By the
would
way,
like to
the
see a design of
comment,
that system.
yeah. By the way, the comment below about India buying crazy amounts of silver, on that I have some comments, and I'll be just speaking on this based upon one of my mentors' uh, write-ups, Navroop Singh ji. Anybody who has watched Dev Talks will know who he is. So he says, quote, China, the top global producer and refiner of silver, has announced that silver exports will be placed under strict state trading control for 2026 to 2027, effectively restricting outward flows to a narrow group of state-approved enterprises. Although not formally a ban, the regime functions like one by sharply curtailing the number of eligible exporters and ensuring that domestic industrial needs, especially solar panels, electric vehicles, and semiconductor fabrication, receive priority. These restrictions carry historical and cultural weight. China, unlike the West, operated on a silver standard until 1935, and a societal affinity for the metal remains deep, but the modern calculus is strategic. Silver has become the world's most irreplaceable industrial precious metal. Its role in photovoltaics, batteries, advanced circuitry, medical equipment, and precision electronics makes it indispensable to the renewable energy and AI hardware revolutions. By tightening control over silver flows at the very moment global supply squeezes are emerging, Beijing is positioning itself not merely as a producer, but as a gatekeeper of the industrial future and a price setter of a monetary metal long overshadowed by gold. So maybe the one who has questioned about silver will know as to why India is buying so much of silver right now. This is the reason why.
Yes.
See,
So okay.
all such. So I just one extra comment on commodities. See, all commodities like silver and gold, right? Especially ones that are stable at room temperature, right? And are useful in, they're not technically useful on a daily basis in life. They are notional, what do you call it? Measures of wealth, right? Because they will never die out, they will never just evaporate. They can literally be stored without any actual use in life. Like for paper, for example, what happens is the minute the value of that paper in terms of a person's mind goes away, it can just be burnt for heat. Like you can't just burn silver for like that. You can't really use that stuff. It's basically only notional. It's like a representation. And historically, both China and India have had high notional value for silver and gold, including many parts of Europe, like Greece and Italy and all. They've been using silver for coinage, right? So these are and very easy to coin. So there's a high value of that material, both gold and silver, and it makes and culturally also China has been a more like a silver storer rather than gold. So it makes sense that they would store a lot of silver, and it's because of, again, interesting, like I said, no, they're holding so many US dollars, they would transfer that value to something that is not you, that's not
and
paper currency.
that's already happening, correct? So over
Yes.
the years, India has about offloaded its about $50 billion. India has offloaded $50 billion of US dominated reserves to actually gold or commodities. So uh, they have bought gold and replace it. They have replaced the US currency with gold. So same thing will be happening also with Chinese as well.
Hello, is my network working?
Slowly, yeah, you're able to hear us, hear me?
I could hear you for a bit.
Okay. Anyway, others are able to hear it, correct? Do let me know.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's what happening, correct? So slowly the dollar dominated reserves, okay, the currencies are going to be replaced by commodities. That could be oil, that could be gold, that could be silver. It's going to be a basket of things. And now the answer to a bet, let me just share this. Why it is not being, okay, it is already shared. So this is a Substack article. Why silver turns strategic? How India became central to global silver squeeze. So there are two parts to the answer. What actually already answered by Vyom is that first, silver is going to be utilized as an industrial metal. We have to remember, uh, gold is not an industrial metal. Okay, it is not used as an industrial metal commonly. Okay, but with the advent of photovoltaics, with the advent of advanced manufacturing of defense, of electronics, high-end electronics, it is going to be used more and more and more as an industrial metal. And why silver squeeze is happening, the second point is, once you use silver, okay, in the manufacturing process, you actually cannot recover it. So if you are going to use, let's say, 1 kilo of silver to produce n number of manufactured goods, you cannot go back, dismantle the goods and extract the silver again. Some percentage it gets recovered for lithium and other metals. So that's why the supply of silver is limited. Once you utilize it, you cannot again recover it through extraction or through recycling. So that's why the prices of silver is going to go up all across commodities. See, because the currency printing will be based on the commodities that you hold, reserves, proven reserves or in your vaults. So the cycle of commodities, where the prices are going to go higher and higher, is going to be there. But again, once the reset happens, the prices are again going to settle down, because again the currencies will again be priced at a different levels, like Indian rupee versus dollar and the Russian ruble.
No,
So
but
that will
there's
happen.
one caveat here. There's one very important
Hmm,
caveat here. If
hmm,
silver is going to become it's going to become scarce, then silver
hmm,
cannot be measure of currency. You have to understand very importantly. A currency, especially global trading currencies, need to be or commodities or whatever, need to be
hmm,
ones that are not scarce. They're not scarce in nature. See, that's why we don't have platinum as currency. We don't
mm,
peg our
mm,
currency to
mm,
platinum, to
mm,
uranium, to iridium, those
mm,
kind of things. Because the minute those get become low in is high in scarcity, the value of currency will spike, and no business people want that. That's why gold will naturally go back to being the standard. I'm telling you. Even now,
okay.
let's assume that the
Mhm,
people are they're stacking a lot of silver, right, for
mm,
the
mm,
next
mm,
coming decade. Those people
mm,
already
mm,
know that because the silver costs will spike, change depending on industrial use, they will not
mm,
make
mm, mm.
silver as a benchmark for the currency that they're going to create. They would rather use gold because gold has no other use except for its notional value, right? Storage value.
Okay,
That's it.
okay, okay. There's one thing. See, in ancient times, the way correct, gold is going to like gold is going to be again become the gold standard, and the currency printing will be based on how much gold you possess in terms of reserves or in terms of the vault. In ancient times as well, the value, like the value of currency issued by the uh, kingdoms, it was a ratio of gold and silver. So the coins which were issued, like silver coins, they would contain, let's say, 80% of silver and 10% or whatever percent of gold. So actually, the price of gold is also related in terms of ratio to the price of silver. And so that actually also is a part, because let's say if the currency is issued by some the amount of silver and gold that coin contains, that actually determines the value of that coin itself. So that is also there, like a 5
No, that only
5
works.
6 10.
That only works if that particular item, the value of that
Mm,
thing is stable. The minute that value of that particular element is not stable anymore, the value
mm,
of that coin also change fluctuates. So, for example, you have a $1 note you have in front of you, right? It's always going to
mm,
be
mm,
$1 note. The problem, what happens is, if you're going to say that a coin of silver, of a coin that you have minted,
mm,
90% of it is going to be gold, is consistent value, but the silver will
mm,
spike. Then that value that you're holding, that coin, you are worried any day. It's like Bitcoin, it can spike any minute based on demand and supply. That's not how a stable. That's why a lot of central banks are against our cryptocurrency. It's because of the same reason. You, for a stability in the market, you need stable values of your currency as well. It can change slowly, but it cannot change, can't spike based on demand and supply. That's the problem, and that's why people are again have problems with. That's basically what is happening right now. So gold will always be. I'm telling you, it'll go back to gold again. For a while, people may go crazy for silver, but it'll come back to
mm.
gold again. Especially if it's restricted from industrial use, then silver will be fine. But if it's allowed in industrial use, then gold will come back.
Okay. Okay. So now, okay, and somebody has some other thing to say. Vyom.
Yeah, there is something important actually. So
Mm,
this was the last comment I think from him. He told me that so if we combine Russia and China now, they actually
mm,
command a dominant share of physical reserves as far as gold and silver is concerned. Collectively,
mm,
they are supposed to hold around 25 to 30% of the world's officially reported gold reserves. But this figure dramatically understates actually the actual amount due to non-disclosed sovereign accumulation. Uh, in regards to silver, China controls 15 to 18% of above ground stocks, while
mm,
Russia's mining footprints contribute to 5 to 7% of global output. Uh, Basically, giving the two powers nearly how much? A quarter of global silver supply. This control over, to quote Navrukji, so this control over physical metal fundamentally alters global monetary leverage. While the West continues to accumulate financial claims, equity exposure, credit instruments, derivatives, and increasingly speculative crypto tokens, Eurasian powers are consolidating what the anthropologist David Graeber once called ultimate money: scarce, fungible, non-liability assets that exist outside any counterparty system. End quote. So this is a huge issue right now happening, and I think India is looking at it from a very strategic point of view, and which is why all the measures that are being taken right now points towards that, like you shared right now, right, about the silver purchases getting increased. I think in
Yeah,
$10 they are buying, right, silver. It was supposed to be $8, but India went ahead with China and made a deal around $10, I think. So
okay, there's one more thing is there, correct? So you have the silver or the commodity ETFs. Okay, so ETFs versus physical delivery. Okay, so the COMEX market in Chicago is showing less. The prices are less in the paper ETFs, the paper silver. The paper silver is
paper silver.
actually cost. Paper silver is less. The like price is less, and if you're going to buy a physical silver, the price is high. So the
Hmm.
Shanghai Commodity Exchange, the silver price is actually higher, and in the Chicago COMEX, it is less. So there is also
It
Yeah,
is going to
a
$70
stay.
per
It is going to stay
dichotomy.
like that for a while. By the way, if you are expecting
Mm-hmm.
कि that gap will close down, it is not going to close down. This is because of the
True.
fact कि अगर इंडिया में कोई सिल्वर आ रहा है तो फिर लोग उसका गहना बना के it is just disappearing right in mass. It's not like कि
Yes, black
वो
hole,
gap तभी
silver black
हाँ
hole.
it's a black hole of silver and gold. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि फिर सरकार या फिर कोई बड़ा कंपनी यहाँ से फिर लेके वो गैप क्लोज करने के लिए उधर बेच सकता है. इट कैन लुक लाइक एन आर्बिट्राज बट इट इज रियली नॉट अनटिल अनलेस आप वॉल्ट से निकाल के. लेकिन अगर वॉल्ट से निकाल के उधर क्यों डालेगा अगर इंडिया सी सिल्वर के साथ क्या हुआ इसका वियर्डली मतलब सिल्वर गोल्ड के साथ होता है जब प्राइस बढ़ता भी है तब लोग और खरीदते हैं क्योंकि उन्हें फिर एक्सपेक्टेशन होता है कि और ये और बढ़ेगा राइट अगेन बिकॉज ऑफ द स्कैरसिटी ऑफ दिस मेटल राइट. तो यहाँ पे अगर लोग खरीद के उधर क्यों बेचने जाएंगे इंडिया में बेच के अगर ज्यादा पैसा मिल रहा है तो ऑब्वियसली इसको एक्सपोर्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है ना. इंडिया इज एनीवे पुटिंग मोर मनी. और फिर जब फेस्टिव ओकेशन आता है फेस्टिवल टाइम पे जितना भी मतलब इसका प्राइस हो लोग तो खरीदेंगे ही. आगे शादी का ये सब चल रहा है टाइम चल रहा है उसके बाद अक्टूबर में दिवाली आता है तब तो लोग खरीदते ही खरीदते हैं कुछ भी प्राइस हो. ठीक है कम खरीदते ज्यादा खरीदते वो अलग बात है बट ऐसा नहीं है कि डिमांड बहुत ड्रास्टिकली रिड्यूस हो जाता है या फिर कुछ होता है. एंड ऑब्वियसली गोल्ड का प्राइस इतना बढ़ गया था इसलिए लोग सिल्वर पे झुके ना. तब सरकार को भी समझ में आया इसको इसका फायदा उठा सकते हैं. सो दिस इज व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड. आई डोंट थिंक कि इंडियन गवर्नमेंट का या फिर एटलीस्ट इंडियन गवर्नमेंट का इतना दिमाग में था कि यार ऐसे वाला कुछ काम कर देते हैं. आई थिंक इट वाज प्रिसाइजली बिकॉज कि ये इसका एक अलग से डिमांड क्रिएट हुआ एंड इंडियन गवर्नमेंट एक्सप्लॉइटेड इट वेरी नाइसली.
Yeah. So correct. There is a entity in the Gift City. Correct. People know the Gift City, which is just beside Ahmedabad, the free economic zone. So there is an entity in Gift City which has actually bought literally thousands of tons of a silver, one entity. So people are saying that is like government of India is buying through that entity because like a common entity cannot buy that amount of money with the money and buy that amount of and they are taking physical delivery. That's the most important part. Whatever silver is bought by in Indian entities, as, as to be said, they are buying physical silver which is landing in India, physical. So they are not ETFs. So when you are talking about, there's a difference between ETFs and physical delivery of precious metals. It can be gold, it can be silver, or any other metal. Okay. Yes.
मैं मुझे एक बात पूछनी है, बहुत हो सकता है जनरल क्वेश्चन हो.
Mm-hmm.
जनरली इंडियंस हैव अ लॉट ऑफ गोल्ड, इंडियन सिटीजन्स. ओके, क्योंकि हमारे में गोल्ड को सेक्रेड माना जाता है, या एंशियंट पीरियड से ही गोल्ड को लेके इस सोसाइटी में ऑब्सेशन रहा है. सो डज इट गिव अस एन एडवांटेज, और इफ इट डज, हाउ डज इट गिव अस एन एडवांटेज, या उसका एडवांटेज
राइट
नहीं मिलता तो उठा कैसे सकते हैं उसका एडवांटेज?
नहीं गोल्ड का एक्चुअली जो इसको इतना प्रीशियस माना गया है उसका रीजन यही है कि जब एंशियंट ट्रेड भी होता था वहां पे गोल्ड को इतना महंगा इसलिए माना जाता था, ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज इट इज अ हेवी मेटल, इट हैज इट्स ओन लास्टर, ड्यू टू विच इट इज थॉट कि ठीक है दिस कैन बी यूज फॉर डिवाइन पर्पस, राइट, कि गोल्ड एडोनमेंट वगैरह ऑफ द गॉड एंड एवरीथिंग। तो इसका रूट वहीं पे है, ठीक है। गोल्ड का और एक फायदा ये होता है बिकॉज गोल्ड इज क्या बोलते हैं इसे, गोल्ड को मैलिएबल बोलते हैं, या फिर डक्टाइल बोलते हैं, जिसकी वजह से इससे गहना बनाना आसान होता है। So out of all metal you have this heavy metal which is sort of ductile and malleable, and which has obviously looks good. तो इसीलिए गोल्ड को इतना ज्यादा महत्व दिया गया एंशियंट ट्रेड में, और वही कंटिन्यू होता आ रहा है। आप अगर यूएस में देखोगे वहां पे तो लोग इतने ऐसे गोल्ड वोल्ड गहना पहनते नहीं है। उनका जैसे डायमंड की तरफ बहुत ज्यादा, डायमंड का भी अलग स्टोरी है, उस पर तो नहीं जाएंगे, बट इंडिया में जैसे गोल्ड के लिए एक अलग सा क्या बता, एक अलग डिमांड है, राइट, लोगों के दिमाग में। बाहर
ऑब्सेशन है,
के
ऑब्सेशन है।
दुनिया ऑब्सेशन जो है वो आपको बाहर की उधर नहीं मिलेगा। उधर आई डोंट थिंक, आई हैवंट सीन कि लोग गोल्ड के लिए इतना ज्यादा मतलब ये गहना पहनेंगे या फिर ये सब करेंगे, मुझे वो दिखता नहीं, दिखा नहीं कभी। सो या
नहीं,
द
वो
सोर्स इज एक्चुअली एंशियंट।
So,
हाँ, वो पॉइंट है, पर मेरा इस पे क्वेश्चन ये था कि क्या इसका हम बेनिफिट उठा सकते हैं एज अ इकोनॉमिक पावर, या वर्ल्ड
ऑब्वियसली
ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड में
for
अपना
that you need for
पोजीशन
that you need
फिक्स करने के लिए?
For that, you need to look at the origins of trade and the Indian subcontinent. Okay, first of all, gold was not an ancient. Let's be honest. It's not an ancient metal that we used to use. We actually use a lot of gems as trade. So if you go to Egypt, right, a lot of places where Indians used to go, Egypt, Greece, and all, we used to use a lot of these precious stones as trading and store of value, right? Because they were not
no, no,
directly used.
that's a wrong statement. This is written in
Sorry.
I think Pliny's record. रोम में लिखा गया है। तो बेसिकली रोम में जब गोल्ड होता था तो वो लोग
I'm
दे
talking about
यूज्ड टू
pre. I'm
ट्रेड
talking pre-Rome. I'm not talking about Rome time. I'm saying
एंशियंट। नो
pre-Rome.
आई एम, वी आर सेइंग एंशियंट ना। सो इन एंशियंट रोम
Rome.
एक्चुअली दे आर राइटिंग कि इंडिया से जो अच्छा जो भी गारमेंट बन के आता है वो इतना फाइन होता है, फाइन कॉटन होता है, और उसके वजह से लोगों का इतना ज्यादा उसका डिमांड है। वी आर लूजिंग आवर गोल्ड
So
रिजर्व
wait up.
बिकॉज ऑफ
That's I'm coming to that. That's my point. I'm coming to that only. You understand why I'm coming from this? Because if you look at ancient Egypt, the trade with ancient Egypt was mostly with these precious stones. That's why you see a lot of, even in South, in the digs of Kirradi, they found not much gold. They found a lot of other things. They found a lot of trading things that even used. They connected Kirradi to Indus Valley through this thing only. These beads and these stones that they use for trading specifically, right? My point is, our goods, are the value that we had was so high, was in goods, that we sold these goods to gold producing areas. And because they wanted our fine goods, they started giving us large amounts of gold in return. So when we started getting paid in large amounts of gold for our fine goods, think about it. If you're a person who is getting a lot of gold, and since gold is an interesting metal, it is solid at room temperature. It can be easily divided into smaller quantities for accurate measurements of value. It can be transported on one's body without any container, requiring any strict container, right? It is not toxic to the body. So what we would do is we could literally carry around our worth on our body, showing that we are basically produced this much amount of fine goods. So for example, a lot of traders used to wear gold on themselves because saying, see how much trade I used to do. Based on this, I have gotten paid so much gold. So it is a measure of our worth as people as well. When you have measure of worth as people, then you can use the same material to provide it to your divinity, saying this is how we are venerating you in terms of our value to you as well. So everything is connected to culture of trade, basically, right?
right.
So my point is, so basically gold became a major part of ancient Indian culture because of our fact that we are trading a lot of goods, valuable goods. In lieu of this valuable goods, we got so much gold and silver from gold and silver producing areas. So that's my
Right.
point.
And Didi, Hindu Vichar Didi
My
was asking.
my question
Yeah.
still stands. How can we take advantage of, as an economy, or the government can take advantage of people having a lot of gold in India? I understand the benefits of gold, but how does it give a positioning? Give us the Can it benefit us in our positioning in the world
I
in
have one
some way or
suggestion.
the
Yes, it
other?
can.
I have one.
Can it
Yeah,
signify strength of our economy, or can it say to the world that we are a powerful economy?
I think
That's
Rishi
what my
goes first.
point is.
yeah, I just had some small points. So I can speak from the perspective of an individual holding gold assets with him. So it acts like a hedge against inflation and currency devaluation. So unlike paper currencies, which lose purchasing power over time due to inflation, gold has historically maintained its value, right? So when the value of
Right.
local currency falls, value of gold often rises in local currency terms, protecting an individual's wealth.
Right.
Also, safety during economic crisis. Gold tends to perform well when other assets like stocks and bonds are under stress due to financial crisis, recessions, or geopolitical tensions. This makes it a form of financial insurance that provides stability when other parts of a portfolio might be declining in value. And also, it's a form of diversification. Gold generally has a low or negative correlation with other major asset classes, such as equities or real estate. Including gold in an investment portfolio can help reduce overall risk and volatility, and leading to more stable returns over the long term. These 3 points are important for us individuals to remember while
Right.
talking about
Hey,
See,
gold.
and
what?
fundamentally, it is coming because people value gold. That's what I mean. Anand just say
Exactly.
what he said. It is coming from that understanding. Okay, this is something which is valuable. I think the main question that we were trying to sort of ask was
Yeah,
that
as
ki,
Anand said, right?
why this is so valuable.
So I
Yeah,
have a
as Anand
suggestion.
said, right? It
It
is
is
a
historical.
stable currency.
No,
Yep.
but I have an interesting
Right.
suggestion for a modern hybrid system, one that is not extremely dependent on using gold only as a hedge against inflation or against other investments, and the other extreme, which is to basically what do you call it? Go completely to equity and just make everything about intangible, non notional things that are based on societal confidence and stuff. Why not people who hold gold in India, right? They invest in Indian infrastructure projects. So you provide the gold to government as storage of wealth, as a storage of value. So they have gold assets, your gold assets. In return, they give you dividends out of infrastructure project that they are doing. So not only are you invested in your country's growth, that gold is part of the assets of the country, and you're benefiting from it. So when the baby
Actually,
something like that. So you
actually,
invest in
Anand,
the development of your country. Similar to what
actually, Anand,
citizens used to do, donating gold to temples, because temples were assets of the state, right? The Rajya, they were assets of the Rajya. So the assets of the Rajya can also benefit the citizen. So it could be a symbiotic system rather than like just notional. So for you to keep in your house and just keep your wealth static based on if the value goes up, value
uh,
goes down. And you mean that's what I meant.
Anand, here there was a scheme which was started by the government. If you remember, that is gold bonds, sovereign gold bonds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so uh, so the citizen had to give some gold to the government, and the government would give you some bonds or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it failed like anything in India. It
But that's because we are
completely
socialists.
tanked because let me tell you. First of all, Indians are very attached to gold, especially Hindus. Second thing is, uh, citizens don't have faith in the government or the
Uh,
state in general with this regard that they will use the gold properly to build infrastructure to develop value in our economy. Okay, they are like हमारे गोल्ड को बर्बाद कर देंगे ये और और ठीक है हमको बॉन्ड मिल जाएगा या पैसा भी दे देंगे गोल्ड का तो वो पैसे का वैल्यू का क्या पता
hmm.
if you look at it in very लॉजिकल टर्म्स तो वो
Now, I was not asking a bond. I
डिस्ट्रस्ट
was not
है
asking
कि
dividends. My thing was different. I was not
ठीक
about bond.
You were talking about bonds, right?
No. I was talking about you provide the gold asset to the government, which they could use, which
Hmm.
they can store to in lieu of investment for public works. And any money they get, any
Yeah.
extra profits they get out of it, they give it to you as dividend, right? So they can show it as
Well,
asset. They can show it as asset. Any interest they get on holding on that, they can show as they can use to infrastructure projects, and any extra value they get, they can give you as dividend. So when they're not producing they're not doing the
पर
work that they're supposed to do, they return back the gold to
पर
you like that.
नहीं, पर गवर्नमेंट करेगा नहीं ना, दैट्स द
वही
प्रॉब्लम,
तो बोल
गवर्नमेंट पर
I'm
विश्वास
saying
करने लायक नहीं है ना।
They have
क्यों?
more.
क्यों?
They
क्योंकि
value gold more
पब्लिक
than their
पब्लिक कैसे
government.
सोचेगी, पब्लिक
Okay, one
कैसे
by
सोचेगी,
one.
मैं बताता हूँ। मैं पहले पूरा कर दूं।
it's a
पब्लिक
very
क्या
complex
सोचेगी,
idea,
बोले
but I've not worked all the kinks out,
नहीं,
so forgive me.
ठीक है, पब्लिक क्या सोचेगी ना, पब्लिक सोचेगी पहले से ही टैक्स लूट रहे हमसे, टैक्स ले लेके कुछ करते उड़ते है नहीं, सड़क खराब है, घटिया है, एकदम 2 कौड़ी का तो बना के रखा है, ये हमारा गोल्ड अब उठाना चाहते। तो जो
I agree.
एक प्रकार से सेफ इन्वेस्टमेंट है गोल्ड का, थोड़ा फाइनेंशियल प्रोटेक्शन है हमको, वो भी हमसे छीन लेना चाहते हैं। तो व्हेन इट कम्स टू दीज थिंग्स लाइक टैक्स or gold or all these things, people don't trust in the Indian state, and to be honest, Indian state has done nothing to win the
You
trust
want
of
that?
its people
I
when
agree.
it comes
Forget
to
about the
these
trust.
issues.
This very tussle, it actually enhances the value of gold itself, right?
No, I,
Okay.
I kind of agree with you, but that's my vision for an interaction between
I
the citizen and the state and the private. Remember, it can also be done by the private player. It doesn't have to be done by the government.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
imagine
I was
imagine I'm a
about to
private
say
player
that
building.
maybe private players should do it.
Yeah,
Maybe people should do it privately to set up certain institutions or enterprises which will provide value to the people. But
yeah,
for that,
Anand,
government will need to bring in a lot of reforms,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I'm not
Anand,
sure will happen.
Anand, why don't you start your own startup with this idea?
I'm
Huh?
I'm not.
Huh?
For
So
that,
correct.
Anand
So
need
you
to
will
be
I
a
have a big mouth. I have a
institution.
big mouth. I don't do much. I talk a lot.
No, but you need a big institution, yeah. If they are not putting trust on the government, why would they trust on a individual, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the
no
main
in
problem
India.
here.
In India, that's a parody, or it's a paradox. In India, people like trust an individual more than the government. That's the paradox that we live because of the way the
Yeah.
state works. Correct. I trust more Bijidda than the person who represents me in the parliament. Correct. That the reality we live in.
It's
Okay.
just that we
So
don't have
who?
That is
power.
true.
We don't
That
have
is
power
fine.
to, yeah, we don't have power to protect the gold actually. You can buy geese
The
that can lay golden eggs.
Okay.
We
Who
have
is
the
like
point
Gandhi is
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 awesome.
state
China
is
manufacturing the
powerful.
geese?
But all those eggs, all those eggs that glitter are not gold. Minal, I'm just giving
Okay.
it back to you.
Didi is asking a very good question. I think all of us should ponder over it. Question: can this Venezuela crisis will affect China-Russia relations? Okay, let me go first. Okay, I want to become Arnab. Okay, so Didi, what is happening is a
The
kind of
nation
a,
wants to know.
yeah, the nation wants to know, and I will only
Well,
speak.
for now, Didi wants
So
to know.
Didi is the nation reflecting the mood. So what is happening is correct. So what we are seeing is the dismantling of the US hegemony as the sole policeman of the world. So we are like slowly moving towards the multipolar world, where the Russia will control the Russian Federation and its periphery, okay, as the main power brokers. So for America, North America and South America is going to be the region where Russia will wield this power, wield this stick. Okay, but beyond that, it will not have any impact. So Russia, China, India, primarily, and America, we are going to have four like multipolar world where these powers are going to hold sway over their sphere of influence. So in that context, even short term there might be something, but in the mid and long term you will see a clear demarcation in terms of sphere of influence. So in midterm there won't be any issues, but yeah, short term there might be some issues.
Do you think in the long run this will
Hmm.
push Russia deeper into the arms of China? Because
No, no.
no,
Russia is already seeing the value, the limited value of aligning with China. You can clearly see they're changing. So when the Ukraine war started, right, like, especially instead the Venezuela crisis reduces Russia's interest in China, because now the Chinese are going to have problem with buying oil from Venezuela. The Cubans who have historically been pro China and Russia are going to be squeezed out, right? So Russia's higher value is to go continue the war with Ukraine and finish it quickly, not keep it going any longer, right? They're going to finish it quickly now before the US has time to switch from Venezuela. See, now Venezuela is a good distraction because now US is stabilized, rebuild the propaganda, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Right, next 1 year they're going to be busy doing that. So Putin's perfect time is now to finish up his dirty work in Ukraine and take over what he wants, and then get back to seeing if he can trade to the world. Second thing, and minute that gets done, his reliance on China reduces. And remember, Russia and China are always going to be competitors. They literally have the same. They hold the same space in the world's axis right now. So if one gets too powerful, the other one gets eaten. So they're not going to be aligned. The minute they're that. So, for example, Russia boosts the Chinese economy too much, China will just eat Russia, or they'll eat parts of Russia, which is what they've been historically doing. So no, I don't think so.
So by the way, we need to put it in the context of, I think, Trump's recent comment on Taiwan. So obviously the parallels are being drawn between US, Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and China, and Taiwan, right? But I think recently, from the some comments that Trump made, it was very clear that Trump don't see it as a parallel, in the sense that Trump doesn't want कि भाई China, मतलब Trump is not. It's not like Trump is not going to do anything if and when China invades Taiwan, which mean कि China, maybe they have lost a huge amount of respect uh, through what happened in Venezuela yesterday. And if China has lost respect in the eyes of USA, it is safe for us to say that they have lost respect in the eyes of Putin as well. Obviously, there will be good diplomatic relations, but Putin is going to have the same attitude कि भाई ये लोग कुछ कर नहीं सकते. They are
I think
basically paper tiger and nothing
I think
else.
he doing Galwan itself. That doing Galwan, he'd have gotten that message already. So I don't know.
Right. And so that's the point. मतलब चाइना और रशिया के बीच अगर मिलिट्री का बात किया जाए, रशिया इस मतलब पुराना पावर है वो, ठीक है, वो बहुत
Yeah,
कुछ देख चुका है, बहुत बड़े बड़े जंग झेल चुका है वो. चाइना ने ऐसा कुछ किया नहीं है. So probably Russia China relation, if something happens, it is probably China is going to हाँ मतलब उसका जो दबदबा है, जैसे वो व्लादिवोस्तोक को क्लेम कर रहा था कुछ दिन पहले, रशिया अब बोलेगा अरे भाग भाई. क्या ही, ठीक है, मुझे यही
yeah,
लगता है कि इट इज गोइंग टू लूज रेस्पेक्ट इन द आईज ऑफ रशिया, स्पेशली
I would
आफ्टर
agree.
दैट होल
So Vijita,
डेलीगेशन fiasco.
are you saying that the whole that military parade and everything that China did so grand and so much of grandiose, so this was all fluff,
Yeah,
so much of
फ्लफ की
underestimation.
बात नहीं है, बट इट इज दैट कि चाइना, प्रोबेबली चाइना इज नॉट गोइंग टू, मतलब दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी लाइक कि ठीक है तुमने वेनेजुएला ले लिया है तो हम ताइवान भी हम लोग कैप्चर कर लेंगे. इट इज नॉट गोइंग, देयर इज नो पैरेलल बिटवीन दीज टू इवेंट्स.
no. Let's be honest. The US may have lost the Korean War. They may have lost the Vietnam War. They may have lost multiple things, right? They must have lost Afghanistan, but they have at least fought something. The Chinese have fought nothing.
राइट, राइट,
They literally
लॉस्ट
like they
किस हिसाब
literally
से बोलते हैं?
unproven.
उनका जो स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑब्जेक्टिव था, बहुत सारे स्ट्रेटेजिक ऑब्जेक्टिव फुलफिल हो गया है.
Yeah,
तो ठीक है, लॉस्ट ओवर मतलब अगर ठीक है लैंड नहीं कैप्चर कर पाए, बट ऑब्वियसली दे हैव asserted their influence, they managed to assert their influence. वो अभी भी इराक में है, वो अभी भी कोरिया
exactly.
में है. कोरिया का अभी 25% क्रिश्चियन हो गया है, साउथ कोरिया
Yeah,
का.
that's correct.
सो हाँ, तो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि उन्होंने वो हार गए हैं, ऐसा ऐसा बिल्कुल ही नहीं है।
Okay, so Bijitda, like in the international
हाँ
relations, the way the nations actually conduct their relationships, correct? Everybody knows. I mean, everybody that China is nobody's friend. Okay, and in
right.
general, that would be the case. So when you are saying correct, so every nation will have its a different kind of relationship, uh, the properties of the relationship. So China has
Mhm.
actually over its existence at all, the China has a mentality called correct the middle kingdom theory.
Yeah.
China has the middle kingdom
Right,
theory
right.
where China considers itself as the center of power. Okay,
Center of
the
the
whole
world.
world. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not just
yeah,
power of this world. Yeah.
Center of
center
the
of the
world.
world. So in this context, you have to remember that China has a inbuilt superiority complex. They think they are superior to any other race in this world. That is the Middle Kingdom ideology. Okay. So in that specific theory, correct, China is never going to be like a friendship that China has with let's say USA or Russia, the way India Russia has a relationship, correct. China is never going to have that kind of relationship with anybody because they think they are superior.
Yeah. That is
Right.
true.
No, it is. See,
Yeah.
the United States, US also think it is superior. ठीक है वो तुम ठीक है but the extra problem you don't understand language, you don't
Printa, you
know
are
their
breaking.
attitude. It is they have insulated themselves from the rest of the world. वो सोच रहे हैं कि हम लोग बाकी चीजों में हिस्सा नहीं लेंगे, लेकिन हम लोग सब पे राज करेंगे. ऐसे नहीं होता है. Everything happens in modern world. Insulate yourself कि हम लोग कुछ नहीं करेंगे, हम लोग अंग्रेजी में बात भी नहीं करेंगे, हम लोग पूरा अपना जो एक वॉल है, लेकिन हम लोग चीजों को एक्सपोर्ट करेंगे, हमारा आइडियोलॉजी, हमारे ये सब.
Bijitda, you are
मैं
breaking.
इतना बेवकूफ
Your
थोड़ा
voice is
ही है.
breaking.
अच्छा अच्छा, so you carry on. I'm rejoining.
Yeah.
Something's
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah.
Anand.
मैं इस पे एक बात कह दूं, फिर आप लोग अपना फिर आप लोग जारी रखिएगा कि चाइना का सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, द एलिफेंट इन द रूम दैट चाइना हैज इट इज डेमोग्राफिक क्राइसिस, व्हिच आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ मेनी पीपल आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. क्योंकि आप क्या है कि चाइना में कोई इमिग्रेट भी नहीं करता जल्दी, कोई उस देश में जाके बसता भी नहीं है. तो वेस्ट या वेस्टर्न यूरोप या अमेरिका के पास एक हथियार है कि उनके देश में लोग जाते हैं काम करने, बसने. चाइना में तो वो भी नहीं होता है. तो एक तो डेमोग्राफिक क्राइसिस है क्योंकि बर्थ रेट्स उनकी बहुत खराब है. दूसरा है कि कोई इमिग्रेशन भी नहीं करता है उधर. तो चाइना कितने लंबे समय तक ये हेजिमनी सस्टेन कर पाएगा एज द सेकंड पावर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड?
No, the
पर
demographic
आपका क्या
crisis.
कहना?
The demographic
मैं
crisis
आई थिंक
is
आई डोंट नो कि मेरी बात सुनाई नहीं दी है कि नहीं. मतलब लास्ट टाइम व्हाट आई सेड कि
you can say.
xenophobia वाला जो सीन है कि people are xenophobic about China. We don't know what they are talking. Hence, because we don't know their language, we don't know their culture, and so we don't know what their attitude is towards the world. तो फिर जो बाहर निकल के आता है वो यूएस का बताया गया नैरेटिव है चाइना के बारे में जो निकल के बाहर आता है. और इंडिया का तो एडिशनल प्रॉब्लम है, यही है कि चाइनीज को हम लोग अच्छे नजर से देखते नहीं है. ठीक है. सो चाइनीज हैव दिस ह्यूज बैड रेपुटेशन एवरीवेयर इंक्लूडिंग यूरोप फॉर एग्जांपल. वहां पे जो टूरिस्ट जाते हैं, मैं नहीं बोलता हूँ कि इंडियन टूरिस्ट आर वेरी वेल बिहेव्ड, बट दे आर मॉडरेटली बेटर बिहेव्ड देन चाइनीज. ये सुनने को आता है, यूएस में सुनने को मिलता था कि चाइनीज जाके वहाँ उत्पात मचाते हैं. इवन जो पैसिफिक आइलैंड्स हैं वहां पे जाके ये लोग उत्पात मचाते हैं. So in general, Chinese have a very bad reputation, and that is they don't have a reputation of being philanthropist. ठीक है. तो ये प्रॉब्लम चाइना का एक इमेज प्रॉब्लम है. और अगर कोई पावर का अगर इमेज प्रॉब्लम है उसके साथ वो अपना सुप्रीमेसी जोड़ के कभी दुनिया में राज नहीं कर सकता है। यूएस के पास एटलीस्ट हॉलीवुड है टू शो कि भाई वी बिलीव इन व्हाट एवर गुडनेस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड एंड एवरीथिंग। बट चाइना के बारे में जितने मूवीज बनाए जाते हैं वो नेगेटिव है। अभी तो सल्लू भाई भी एक मूवी बना रहा है रैंडम गालवान को लेकर, राइट? गालवान वाला जो जंग था। सो दे हैव अ वेरी बैड रेपुटेशन। तो इसके लिए मुझे
उसको
नहीं
लेके
लगता कि
चाइना
ये कोई
पगला गया।
yes, and China react to everything, right? क्योंकि उनके उनके जो आम आदमी है उनके मुंह बंद करके रखा है। सो द गवर्नमेंट नीड टू रिएक्ट। इंडिया में क्या होता है, कॉमन पीपल रिएक्ट्स कि कोई न्यूयॉर्क टाइम में कुछ छप गया है, सरकार को रिएक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ता। दुनिया मतलब हम लोग आम आदमी रिएक्ट करता है, तो सरकार को थोड़ा सा मौका मिल जाता है टू कीप डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम दिस ऑल दिस थिंग्स। लेकिन ये मौका इनको नहीं मिलता चाइना को, क्योंकि चाइनीज लोग पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में बात नहीं करते, तो फिर सरकार को टांग अड़ाना पड़ता है, राइट? तो ये सब दिक्कतें हैं यार चाइना के साथ। ऑब्वियसली डेमोक्रेसी तो है नहीं वहाँ पे, तो दैट इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम। Once a Chinese guy told us CCP will worship Lord Buddha. Subhash Chakraborty. So
और
CCP are the Subhash Chakraborty of CPM Bengal, right?
Sorry.
और विजित दा आप शायद डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए थे, तो मैंने ये पूछा था कि डेमोग्राफिक क्राइसिस भी तो चाइना का प्रॉब्लम है। ऊपर से वहां पर कोई पॉपुलेशन भी इमिग्रेट नहीं करती है, मतलब कोई चाइना जाके बसना नहीं चाहता है, यंगस्टर्स या
Exactly.
यंग कपल्स।
Exactly.
तो वो
Right.
एक बहुत मेजर प्रॉब्लम है ना चाइना के
That's
लिए।
not it's China. It's all of
Yeah.
East Asia.
That's the problem ना,
या
they don't believe in cultural exchange। अब जब तक कल्चरल एक्सचेंज नहीं करोगे, तुम्हारे वहां के जाके लोग भी नहीं जाके भी लोग नहीं बसेंगे, तो लोग क्यों तुम्हारे बारे में बात करेंगे? दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम ना।
No. So the demographic, the demographic thing you're mentioning is just a symptom. The problem is bad. No lack of feedback. The feedback loop doesn't exist in China. It is a closed corporation. True, because what is happening is while China may have brought some capitalism in state capitalism, their system is still communist in nature, right? Their feedback system is communist in nature. Means if you don't agree with the party line, you basically are a traitor, right? Which is a problem. So they don't get effective feedback. So same with demography, right? So this obsession with in India, oh, you must keep the population low. That is literally what happened in China. The same nonsense that was fed to us was fed to them by the way, Europeans, by the way. All of this is, you have to understand, very funny, right? When Westerners start saying anything bad in Asia is because of Asians, when no, technically everything bad in Asia is because of Europeans. Communism is a European idea. It is not an Asian idea. Everyone keeps forgetting. Marxism and communism is not an Asian idea. It is a European idea. But they don't say, oh, they look at the great communism and Marxism we exported to Asia. They say, they look at the great capitalism we exported to Asia. When technically, when the Europeans were still feudal monarchies, most Asian states were capitalist in their essence, in their true essence. Like the Cholas fought a war with Srivijaya to allow for free trade, right? And free flow of goods, and anti-embargo, literally. But so my point is that the problem is there's no feedback. Second thing is you were mentioning about one more thing you were mentioning about China, not knowing. So there is a reason why again China is not well known in India. It's because we are taught a certain filtered version of China, whether by the Indian state or by the Western state. Neither is completely true, because while China is affected significantly by the Chinese color revolution, they're also completely influenced by materialism and westernization. They want to be westernized. They just want to be Chinese at the same time. So they hate America. I don't know why. So there's a cognitive dissonance over there, right? They've destroyed their own traditional philosophy, Confucianism, and they've gone to pure Western materialism. So that's the reason we don't know them, because they are themselves confused. They don't know what they are. So they are at contradictions with themselves.
And Anand, the outreach that they establish elsewhere, it's through Confucius Institutes, which I do not know if they even teach Confucianism or not.
No, they
It
don't. They
seems
don't.
to.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's a what do you call it? What's the word? It's paraphernalia. It's paraphernalia. It's
Ah,
not ideology. It's
copy.
paraphernalia.
Mm.
Yeah, that's all.
Also, if you look at India and our the way we understand China, last time I was hearing Abhijit Iyer Mitra on this, he said that we don't have proper China experts, or we don't have people who are properly trained in your Mandarin language to understand China. So even in the case of Indian state, what happens is that we borrow our narratives or data regarding China from the West, even the Indian state, to a great
No,
extent.
I disagree with him. You don't need to know Mandarin language to understand China. You need good AI translation tools. That's more than enough. Some context you need maybe a little bit Mandarin experts to give you. So, for example, there's some colloquialisms that Mandarin people will speak. But if you have a good AI translating tool, actually Mandarin is very easy to translate. It's not complicated. Unlike Indian languages which are highly contextual, Mandarin is not. Especially after what
I mean,
China did to it.
I mean, now you can say that, but let's say in the last 50 or 60 years, the way we have approached China, maybe in those times you didn't have proper translation tools like we have today.
No, that I
So
agree.
if we look at the historical track record, then we can say that our research on China has not been very thorough.
No, but Abhijit was talking.
Understand?
I was talking about today, not about the past. His criticism was of today, and I was like, "What the hell? What do you mean
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that?"
yeah. I mean, till now it has been not proper.
That
As far as AI tools are concerned, let's see what we can do there. I think we can invest more on China, on understanding China or researching on China.
you don't need to research China to know China. Just research Hong Kong, research Taiwan, research Singapore, research
Yeah, I
Malaysia.
mean,
The cultural indicator is almost the same. The only difference is China is what do you call it? Political ideology. That's it.
yeah.
But
तो
Chinese people
पॉलिटिक्स को भी तो
all over
रिसर्च करना
subcontinent,
पड़ेगा ना.
all over. Sorry.
तो वो पॉलिटिकल आइडिया को भी तो मतलब चाइना में कैसा पॉलिटिकल आइडिया है वो भी तो रिसर्च का पार्ट होगा ना.
That they tell you, man.
I mean,
They themselves tell you.
culturally we can understand China through Singapore and all.
They're
In
actually
terms
not. They
of
don't.
its
They're not
unique
like the
politics.
US. They actually tell you exactly what the century of humiliation. They're not hid from anyone. This idea that they want to avenge the century of humiliation. They're not hid from anyone at all. And they're going on that track. Very
Yeah.
clear. They're actually very clear. It's only us who are like, no, no, no,
Billions.
no. They're not clear.
Okay, Moinagda is doing to actually increase his or her social credit points. China is good.
No. You get to know a Chinese once you start to grill them with questions. Okay. मतलब अरे तुम जा रहे हो पार्टी कर रहे हो एक साथ दारू पी रहे हो फिर तो सब अच्छे दोस्त हैं यार.
Yeah,
उसको जानने के लिए have you
you
grilled
must
him
take them out to
enough?
drink. You must take them out to drink if you want to get to know them. That I agree.
So
Social
you
credit
grill
score is
them
going
कि
up,
भाई ये
Moinagda.
ऐसा क्यों है तुम्हारे उधर वैसा क्यों है. Then you will start seeing कि अच्छा इनका real belief क्या है. What do they really believe in?
I had a friend from China, okay? He told me that he wants to secretly nuke a city in China. He's like, hates his people so much, he wants to nuke one city of theirs.
I
Actually,
we
local Chinese
condemn
guy.
we condemn this comment from Anand. Anand, this is not good. We
Yeah.
absolutely
मेरा
against
comment
this
नहीं है
kind of
भाई वो एक
comments.
बंदा था चाइना से. He himself wanted
Okay.
he wanted to test how many people would die effectively with that nuke. Like do you understand the moral framework is so badly destroyed by the CCP, right?
हाँ, because the
People
moral
literally do
framework
not
is
care about
communist
human
framework.
life.
Right.
Yeah.
It's communist framework, na?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
there were
it's not just communist framework.
many
It is
videos.
dehumanizing framework. It's like they've dehumanized society to such a point that how many people die doesn't matter. It's just a fact that as long as you get ahead in life, in your own sphere.
I've seen this some videos from China. I'm not sure how accurate they are, but I've seen if someone has met accident in China, they deliberately kill this person who is injured. Uh, there are certain incidents of such occurrences of which I've seen some videos. That if someone is lying on the road after accident, no one will go to help that person. In some cases, the driver who has committed the accident will further harm that person. So, yeah, I mean, regarding dehumanization of China, I've seen 2 or 3 videos of such incidents, but I'm not sure about overall environment. But now that you said it, I think your point has a value.
That unfortunately that's happening here also. It's happening in India as well. That danger
In
is spreading
India,
here
it
as well.
happens. In India, it happens mostly in Delhi. I've
No,
noticed
no,
it.
it's happening everywhere.
In
It's happening all over the country.
eh,
That's the danger. No, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
We're not observing the cultural invasion. We're worrying about the physical invasion.
in Kolkata, at least I've not seen this. Whenever we have met any accident on our two-wheelers, generally people come around and try to help us out. They will offer us water or call an ambulance if the person is too serious, in a too serious of a condition. So in
I'm saying
Kolkata, at
starting.
least
Not
I've
saying
not
it's.
seen this.
I'm not saying it's
Till
completely out
now,
of
I've
control. I'm
not
saying it's
seen
starting.
this. Is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Maybe it is starting in some places, but in Delhi, I've heard a lot about this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to our discussion. This is a very important and very good question which has come up. After Trump came into administration, do you still think USA is a democratic country?
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Is it? It is.
Mhm.
By democracy, you vote, you elect your representatives, and they elected Trump. That's all democracy means. If you think democracy means anything else, please go read a dictionary. Thank you so much.
And in these midterm elections, the Republicans faced a serious setback. So, so I think
And they will.
democracy does work for America when it
All
comes to
democracy
doing
is
it.
very simple. Forget whether it works or not. We have to be very clear what democracy entails. We add a lot of a masala onto our democracy, which is not true. If you are talking about, and this is why my disagreement with Salvatore Barbonis sir also, that day I asked him a question. He disagreed with me, but it's okay. He can disagree with me. That's fine. But fundamentally, democracy means that when you elect your representatives via the ballot, one person, one vote. Simple as that. And the America is still a democracy. So Venezuela stopped being a democracy when Maduro didn't accept the election results. No matter whether he can contest or
अच्छा
not,
in
right?
this note ना तो यहाँ पे यार we have not talked enough about Raga, right?
Hmm. Raga not a Democrat.
तो ये वाला
I
discussion
want to
थोड़ा
start
हमको
with a
उठाना
question regarding Raga. You can include you can include in your answer. One is, can
सरकार को क्या
BJP do
करना
a
चाहिए
psyop? Can BJP do a psyop to ensure that Raga is removed from the Congress regime? Let's say Congress is a
Why would they
country
do? Why would they
and
do it?
Raga is at the top, or maybe Hindu should do that. Maybe Hindu should do that psyop or some sort of an operation, covert operation to remove Gandhi family from Congress party. It will be a benefit for us. Let's say if Shashi
exactly
Tharoor was the leader of the Congress party, I think we would have had much better discussion, much better discourse.
Such
exactly
Because
that
we
BJP will not
may
let you. Will not let you.
disagree, we may disagree with Shashi Tharoor, but that man is still sane person.
right
No, BJP will
He
not let
does
you.
put forth some valid points. Sorry.
BJP will not let you, man. Don't say things loudly
Mhm.
because then BJP will come after you. They'll say, "How dare you?" Now, what did Mamata Banerjee say about one community? Kam and
see
Hindu, right?
like
What?
United States
नहीं नहीं नहीं
run
नहीं
for
नहीं
oil
नहीं
right
एक
कि
मिनट एक मिनट
जिसके
what did
पास ऑयल होगा हम लोग उसी पे हमला बोलेंगे
let me make this
सिमिलरली
joke now. अरे
बीजेपी
busy
के
I'm
पास
making a
रागा
joke
है
man.
राहुल गांधी है ये राहुल गांधी को जो भी मतलब उखाड़ना चाहेगा उसके अगेंस्ट बीजेपी चला जाएगा
अरे एक मिनट हाँ वही तो बोल रहा हूँ. Let me make the joke. What did Mamata Banerjee say about one community? Ron what they
दुधेल
know?
गाय
What
दुधेल
they know?
गाय
Dudhel guy. Rahul Gandhi is the Dudhel guy of the BJP.
coming from a
Absolutely.
non-Bengali guy,
भाई
he
उसको
talks
बहुत दूध
Bollywood.
लिया भाई, वो गाय इतना दूध चुका है ना, बाप रे बाप. ही इज अ गिफ्ट दैट गिव्स ऑन गिविंग, कीप्स ऑन गिविंग.
सही भाई, और कितना दूध निकालोगे एक गाय से यार,
नहीं
मतलब
नहीं, he's a permanent Dudhel guy.
ये
अरे
गाय
नहीं
तो
नहीं, खून
56 साल,
निकलने वाला
कितना
है,
60 साल का
रुक
हो
जाओ।
चुका है ना, इस साल 60 का हो गया दूध.
It's
60
okay.
साल का गाय है यार ये.
Keep him alive as much as possible for BJP to win.
Okay, so one more thing. I disagree with a lot of things BJP does, but only one thing I agree with them. Okay,
Only one
every
thing?
time.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Only one thing. I agree with them every time, whatever they do, bad and good. Okay, that one thing is the understanding of BJP is that you have to remain in power to make a change. Okay.
That is true.
So whatever BJP does, good and bad things, we are going to criticize it. Okay, we will to talk about. Okay, this is done bad by BJP. What Mohan Yadav is doing, whatever the experiment is done on the OBC front, correct? So this OBC politics, correct? BJP primary vote bank was primarily a Savarna, correct? The upper caste. So it slowly transitioned from upper caste plus lower caste, okay, votes, the Dalit votes. Now it is again reinventing itself and doing experiment with the OBC itself, and they will go wrong. We have to understand politics about reinventing your own self. Okay, so BJP has done this experimentation in Madhya Pradesh, where it had a OBC chief minister, and also they had a lot of other leaders who were OBC in actually Madhya Pradesh government. These experiments will happen, they will fail, they will give bad results. We forget that BJP was almost wiped out in the Chhattisgarh elections and Congress came into power. But after 5 years, BJP came back in Chhattisgarh with a record majority at that time.
Yep.
So look politics in a very short, very mid-term and long-term game, where political parties are going to make mistakes. But we as Hindus need to be little bit less emotional and little bit more calculative.
Exactly.
Take the example of Muslims in Maharashtra. Today, right now, Muslims of Maharashtra are voting for Shiv Sena. Who is Shiv Sena? Shiv Sena is the party which said that Mr. Bal Thackeray, correct? Bal Thackeray,
We destroyed Babri.
Correct, and he said it should be destroyed. So
Right.
Muslims, we Hindus need to learn from Muslims how they vote, how they see politics, and learn from them that the same people who hated Mr. Bal Thackeray are now voting for the party which they hated. So this is how politics works. We Hindus have to be less emotional. Yes, it doesn't mean that you should not criticize BJP. We are here criticizing BJP for what they have done wrong in MP. But we have to be calculative and understand the politics and then vote for it. If you're going to vote emotionally, you will end up having a government which is going to kick you in your butt. That's it.
That I agree.
ये तो जैसे
So
कुछ दिन पहले किसी ने कहा था, या मैंने ही कहा था, या किसने कहा था कि वोट उसी को दो, तुम्हारे पास तुम्हारी औकात नहीं है कि तुम किसी और को वोट दो, हिंदुओं, पर उनके
so-
मन में तुम्हारा इतना आतंक रहना चाहिए ना कि जब से ही कुछ करने जाए तो 100 बार सोचे कि हिंदू लोग क्या करेंगे तुम्हारे साथ.
So that's what. So
Well-
that you need to. So that you need to what you must learn lessons from what the what do you call it? Tea Party and what the leftists did in the US. They were able to carve out a niche within the chunk of the major party by strategically voting. So, for example, in places where it is guaranteed the BJP can win, you can have a third front who push the BJP. They may not always win, but they push the BJP saying, if you do not do what we want, we will take this seat. So while we may not damage your larger prospects, you will lose a seat here and there, and that will make your thing a little bit less tenable. So you do that, you let the BJP continue doing its job, but you also keep them on notice. You need to strategically do these things. You can't do like, oh, I'm going to
Yeah, तो
replace BJP.
basically यहाँ पे logic ये तो
Yeah,
है.
I had suggested it a few months ago that Hindu should start with another proper Hindu political party in Gujarat,
Right.
because Gujarat is the BJP bastion. There you
Yes.
can create a separate group,
And you
pressure
must be
group.
very clear. Not that you're opposing the BJP, but you're keeping the BJP on task. The messaging must be very clear, so the BJP voter doesn't get angry with you. Like they support you in keeping the BJP accountable, but still supporting the BJP. So it must be a very clear narrative. It cannot be a I hate BJP, BJP evil, BJP is what call it, a Manuvadi, BJP is what Muslimvadi. They cannot go that extent. You cannot make the BJP your enemy. You have to be your fellow traveler who's not doing enough. You are the guy keeping pace with him and saying, you don't buck up, I'm going to overtake you. That should be the strategy.
ओके, निनाल
नहीं
को
फिर
बोलने
तो
दो।
बेसिकली यहाँ
अभी
पे एक
मैं
मिनट सो भूपेंद्र ने ये भूपेंद्र इज बेसिकली ट्राइंग टू से कि जब तक हमें राहुल गांधी से ज्यादा बेवकूफ और लेस वाइल कोई बंदा नहीं मिल जाता तब तक राहुल गांधी को कांग्रेस पे बैठा के रखना चाहिए. दिस इज बेसिकली द लॉजिक दैट ही
Yeah, no, no. See, no, not my logic. See, you have to see BJP as a political party. Okay, so we have to separate the domain specific skills. Correct. My domain skill is to do the podcast. Okay, Vijit's skill is to speak on them. Separate those domains. Okay, BJP is an political entity. What is the job of a political entity? To win elections, correct? So yes, you can add little bit of ideology, little bit of emotions to that, but as a political entity, BJP cannot afford to have emotions,
a smarter
reactions.
person than Raga in the opposition.
Exactly. So look at it from that perspective. Be a baniya. When you're thinking, be a baniya. That मैं दुकान चला रहा हूँ, मुझे कंज्यूमर चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए जो मेरा सामान खरीदे.
अरे यार.
Correct. You cannot put emotion in politics. Then you will never be. You will be as people who
On
are
that
now.
note, I want to answer this question. Can you not justify
Hmm.
Raga's action using the same logic?
Hmm. Hmm.
As to everything is fair in love and war, right? कि सही बात है. But the
No,
point
it
here
is
is
fair in love
कि
and war, but you got to kick his ass as well in return.
एग्जैक्ट वही बात है कि रागा जैसा बंदा है जिसका जो शैतान तो है बट उसका औकात नहीं है तो इसीलिए उसे छोड़ के रखा गया है ना.
Okay. So let me answer this question. So you have correct. We'll go back to the intentional morality which we were discussing yesterday. Correct. What is the intention of the Congress party and also the leadership, what they have done for last 50 years, what they have done pre-independence, correct? And what is the current dispensation the Congress party represents? The Congress party represents the dispensation which says that we want a revolution like which happened in Bangladesh and Nepal. So you need to have clear understanding what Congress party, what Rahul Gandhi stands for. Rahul Gandhi Congress stands for the dismantlement of Bharat, reducing all the economic growth, everything to zero so that they can win elections. Okay. On the other hand, you have BJP, correct, who are for last 10-12 years at frantic pace building infrastructure, building a lot of other institutions, correct? Your life is much better today because of the BJP. Whether you hate BJP, whether you love BJP, your life is much better today because what BJP's agenda is of building Bharat. So you need to have a clear think rationally, not emotionally. Okay, emotion should be for your country, but when you are analyzing a party and its action, use rationality. So do your own math, correct? Is
Right.
why Modi government is building all these things, inking all these things? Because they want to see India a better place, a better living standard for all of us. That you can feel it. But will Raga will do this? He will never do this. So that's why you need You also need to build, correct? And one more thing, when people say, correct, we should build a new party, the only practical feasible solution that you have of BJP becoming secular is that there will be a fraction from BJP will come out and become more Hindutva. Right now, you cannot build a political party. What you can do is you can influence and break BJP into pro Hindutva plus a pro Hindutva max and Hindutva. That's the practical you have. Right now, you cannot build a party. It takes around 10-15 years to build a political party, and that you cannot afford. So the only solution is that, and it will happen. BJP will break into less Hindutva and pro Hindutva wings. It will happen in next about 20 years anyway. Yeah.
Oh, I
But
think I already
for
said.
that, other parties have to go. Like other parties have to diminish to an extent where they don't even matter, and BJP becomes so big that it becomes very difficult to manage.
That is why.
Uh,
That is why I
it,
say if you want to beat the BJP, you need to beat the BJP from the right side, not from the left. Because there are too many socialist parties in the left already. You need to get rid of. You need to basically like make them irrelevant in the places that they are in. So, for example, when someone says that there's not enough jobs, you cannot beat the BJP on not enough jobs from the left. You can beat the BJP on not enough jobs from the right, because that's the only solution. Only logical answer to the BJP standard is from the right side. Right, same way with if you're saying that cost of commodity is very high, again you can only beat the BJP from the right on it. You take, say for example, that take for example Madhya Pradesh, those people who died, right? You can only beat the BJP only from the right on that topic, because the problem is the fact that leftist bureaucracy caused the problem. Only the right wing, true right wing, can challenge the BJP on the same point. Because you just replace the BJP with another leftist party, they will do the same shit and the same consequence will happen. Same people, kids
the
will die.
the thing is, our opposition parties are leftist ideologues.
Exactly. That's my point.
They are ideologues. They are not they are not thinking practically that we have a chance to outflank BJP from the right.
That's
Any
because even the
sane
citizen is like that.
political
No, the problem, you're
any
mistaking the fundamental problem though. It's not because the party is left wing. It's because even the constituent who votes for that party is left wing. See, unless we educate the population to understand that the issue that you're so upset about can only be solved from the right wing, they're not going to change their vote. They're going to still vote for the same stupid solution. So it's our duty as youngsters to educate other youngsters on the fact that all problems that need to be solved that the BJP is not handling is because they're not right wing enough, or they're not so-called non-left wing enough. Right? That is the problem. That we are not challenging the youngsters in this country to think of that. So, for example, there was this trend, right? High taxes, first world taxes, third world, what do you call it? Stuff, whatever the services.
Third world services.
No, we are
third world
actually having,
facilities.
we actually have first world taxation with third world facilities. The problem is we have we have third world taxes. I'm confused. We have third world taxation. Arey nahi bhai. We had third world taxation. I'm so confused because these people have confused my
We
head
have
also.
first world taxation with
Taxation
third world
facilities.
facilities.
Exactly. And why is it happening? Because much of the thing is being eaten by. So, for example, this. I don't understand this. This happens on TV. Okay, when an election happens, right? And they think, oh, they are deciding on portfolios. They always think, oh, this person wants a finance portfolio. Everyone knows what that means. It means so you can get some under the table money from the different businesses. But no one wants to say
I
explicitly. No
think
reporter will explicitly say this person wants to take bribe. We have
I think
resigned ourselves to the
Anand,
fact that
what
every
a
politician wants to take
what
bribe.
a what an intelligent opposition could have done. No, they could have. Uh, they have an ecosystem of intellectuals. They could have used it to educate the citizens of right wing ideas, but they won't do that because they have become rabid leftist ideologues. Because at the end of the day, even if we talk about citizens and the society, uh, the Pareto principle always works. Like there are only few people who decide in which direction the society will go. So if the leftist parties of India, which have the ecosystem within their control, could could have used some political brains, some practical brains to change the narrative a bit, so that they can outflank the BJP from the right. Uh, they could have made a dent or a change, but they have become too rabid in their ideology.
Uh, okay, so now we are going to towards the end of our
No,
stream.
before one more thing,
So,
one more thing now, if we
hmm,
go to the end of the, Bhupendra, if we go
hmm,
into the debate,
hmm,
there's one more
hmm.
thing that we have there's a fundamental problem in our polity. Okay. See, the point of a politician or a statesman is to serve or convince the population. Primarily, your primary point. So, for example, if you have a policy, your primary point is to convince or serve the population. It is not to convince or serve your opposition. Remember, you can get feedback from your opposition. It is not to serve your opposition. The mistake that happens in India is a lot of these politicians, they serve the opposition. They don't take feedback or serve the population. If you observe very interestingly, this is what is happening in all of our politics. In every single policy, when there's a policy issue, the focus is serving the opposition, not serving the population or taking feedback from the population.
Either regarding serving the population, the thing is they have a Tina factor. Like we people on the right, we are unheard. We are completely ignored by the ruling party because they know we will vote for them. We have no other choice. So they are looking to convince the other spectrum of the population, which is on the left side of the political thought. So we are in a very sticky situation, catch 22 situation.
No. I think I'm perfectly happy. I'm happy the fact that BJP exists because I'm able to put out my narrative to the young population. I'm able to at least I'm able to talk to them about the other options that they have. If there's been a Congress government in the central government and they had started making IT rules, we would not have the chance to talk about the right wing options or the so-called non-left options. We are getting the chance to speak about and educate the next generation of the population about the diversity of
No,
opinion
no,
because of the fact that
no,
BJP
no.
still
I'm
exists.
not saying
Come there.
BJP is the same as Congress. No, no. Don't get
Correct.
me wrong. I'm just
Hmm.
saying we have a catch 22 situation here where a lot of what we say goes unheard when it comes to framing policy
That's
because
true.
we don't have that leverage.
By
Okay,
the way, the
Neenar.
latest news is that Zelensky wants Trump to capture Putin next after Maduro. ये क्या जोकर इंसान है यार ये.
अरे आई थिंक रागा का माल उसके पास पहुंच गया है.
Well, he was a comedy
Raga
actor,
has
so it makes sense.
Raga has supplied some his special stuff to Zelensky.
Intense stuff.
No.
Some high
He was a
quality.
comedy actor before he got into politics. So
Okay, so let's welcome the EU guy over here. नीनर आप ही बोलो अब EU के पक्ष से.
हाँ, तो क्या बोलूँ? किस टॉपिक पे?
क्या बोल
फॉरेन पॉलिसी पे बोल जो हो रहा है अभी.
your thoughts on महान डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प. वो कितने महान है. Why we should give Nobel Peace Prize to him?
Well, Donald
Why we
Trump,
should?
he used to be a reality TV show host. Basically, the world is now his whole reality TV show. He is playing with everyone, picking up the big presidents wherever he wants, sending tariffs, everything. That is basically his thing.
So reality TV has reality TV program has moved from TV to real world, correct?
Because the host has moved to play with the real world.
Survivor 101, correct? Survivor 101. I think people might understand what I'm talking about. Survivor is a reality show where people literally survive on a jungle, like real jungle. and
So
real
Trump
ones, not
voted
fake ones.
Maduro off the island, I guess.
Yeah, he's so as per Zelensky, Trump is going to get together, get Putin, get Maduro, and maybe some other persons put into island, and then they will survive. So that would be broadcast to all over the world. Okay, Niner, go ahead if you have anything else.
No, no. But I'll just put any points in case they come. Right now, I don't have any points in
Mm,
mind.
इन
mm.
केस दे काम क्या फिर कमेंट में लिखो अभी, ठीक है? दीदी क्या बोल रही है? जेलेंस्की सपने सुहाने लड़कपन के।
Arey, we have a Korean Bhau in the chat. Who's the Korean?
Ah,
Who's the Korean Bhau and what did he put in the chat? I'm a little confused.
कोरियन भाव
कोरियन भाव कहाँ से आ गया है? Oh, yeah.
कोरियन भाव से कुछ गाली वाली दिलवाओ यार, कुछ नया।
अरे we
I
cannot
don't know
read Korean. Who
what
can?
is this? What is the Korean Bhau put in the chat? I'm confused. Wo kya hai? If you can give us
I
the
don't know.
detailed description of what that is.
I don't know what he has written.
See, I only know Anya Sayo and I
One
don't know
interesting topic
Anya
is
and some kid corrected me and says Anya Hostayo or something like that. And so I don't know. I only know that I don't know how to write that also.
okay. So I have one interesting topic in mind. So let's say this has been done to Venezuela by USA. And what if India also takes a very different path from the rest of the world, and they decide to try this on India? Is that a possibility at all?
So I didn't get that. What did you say
That
again? What's the last bit?
uh, that India, if it goes on a very different and radical path from the rest of the world, would foreign countries who are more powerful than us also try to do this kind of
I
adventurism
mean, they
with
have
India?
tried it in 1971.
They can't do
You know
shit in
that?
India. They can't do shit in India
they
anymore.
so they had this plan. I think I wrote it in my book as well. So in 1971, what happened ना कि पाकिस्तान बेसिकली चाइना और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के बीच का जो दूरी है, दे रिड्यूस दैट एंड दे ब्रॉट बोथ दीज पावर ऑन द सेम टेबल, ठीक है? वो जब आया फिर चाइना और यूएस मिलके ये पाकिस्तान के साथ डिसाइड किया कि पाकिस्तान बांग्लादेश मतलब ईस्ट पाकिस्तान और वेस्ट पाकिस्तान दोनों तरफ से अटैक चालू करेगा. Then China will join, obviously in that side of Arunachal Pradesh and all those. And in the meantime, US will send their aircraft carriers and everything and submarines to attack from the other side, from the south. And then they what they said was that will actually crunch India like a paper box or something. Okay, कि चारों तरफ से इंडिया को क्रंच करके खा जाएंगे. And
Right,
this was
right.
the plan. बट बीच में फिर रशिया ने अपना वो रशिया भेजे थे, मतलब उसका असर तो ऑब्वियसली हुआ ही था, बट ऑल्सो ये जंग जो है ये 16 दिन में खत्म हो गया. तो no one kind of expected this, but this was what happened actually, and you can find it from there. I think I
तो
put some reference in the book, but हाँ.
अभी यदि मेरे मन में एक थ्रेट परसेप्शन को लेकर क्वेश्चन है कि अभी यदि इंडिया के लिए फिजिकल थ्रेट है तो किससे है? जैसे मैं पाकिस्तान या
Right.
चाइना की
तो वो
बात
लिखते
नहीं कर
हैं,
रहा हूँ एग्जैक्टली,
हाँ, उनका जो
क्योंकि
डॉक्यूमेंट है, उनके डॉक्यूमेंट में ये लिखते हैं.
पाकिस्तान या
हाँ हाँ, बोलिए सॉरी हाँ.
पाकिस्तान या चाइना की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि देखिए पाकिस्तान को तो हम लोग खदेड़ देंगे, उसका कोई इशू नहीं है, बट पूरा वर्ल्ड में जो बड़े पावर्स है उसमें जो भी पॉलिटिक्स चल रहा है उसमें आपको सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट इंडिया की सिक्योरिटी के लिए कौन लगता है?
यूएसए.
So
बिकॉज
I have
यूएसए में कोई कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं है.
very sarcastic or not a very critical and very different opinion on this. Our biggest threat in the world is from India.
अच्छा, वो धुरंधर वाला.
No. I'm being serious. So our biggest threat is not a physical invasion. Our biggest threat is a chemical or a biological invasion. And our systems in our country, literally is shown to you in what happened in Madhya Pradesh, is not prepared for any eventuality. Why was that guy in Gujarat making rice?
Right.
because they know that our systems are not resilient enough to prevent any such attack. And that's the biggest danger to us. Any
Hmm.
power, the biggest, if US comes and invades India, they will get an embarrassment that they've never seen India ever in their history. Because first of all, we are an extremely defensible country. They can only come from the sea. And when you
Right.
come from the sea, invading from the sea is very difficult. Trust me.
Right. What
Even
they
this,
have
even
written
this,
now,
huh?
they have written this precisely कि हम लोग आई थिंक यूएस के रिकॉर्ड में है हम लोग इन्वेट तो कर देंगे लेकिन जाएंगे कितना दूर क्योंकि दिस इज सच ए डेंसली पॉपुलेटेड कंट्री कि यहाँ पे वही
Guards.
5 किलोमीटर 10 किलोमीटर चलना भी मुश्किल हो जाएगा क्या
They
हुआ
won't even
कि
get
क्या
past the
चलना
Ghats.
है
They won't get past the
एग्जैक्टली
Ghats. They have to climb the Ghats
एग्जैक्टली
first. How will they climb the Ghats? And their only other entrance is Gujarat and Maharashtra side. And even there, you can literally get them bogged down in the Bay region. Like it's in India. It's extremely difficult to enter by land by sea. It's very difficult unless we let them. That's my point. Our worry is
You
internal.
will have
Our
internal
worry is never going to be
collaborators
external.
who will want them to
Yes.
come inside.
That is our only worry. And what do you call it? Our biological and chemical security. To me, Indian infrastructure is woefully inadequate in that. We have to work double time. We are not. We're taking it very lackadaisical. Even citizens are taking very lackadaisical. It requires one proper infection in E. coli drop in any of our water regions. We are in trouble. And we need to we are not preparing. We are thinking it's a very chill and, oh God, your collective health will be okay, all that stuff. Nonsense. And this has been beaten into us. It cannot be, oh, poor
Venezuela
thing,
is going
so
to
people
be
are
this
poor, they don't
breaking
they
news.
don't care about this. No, you have to think, they have to fucking care about it. Because their kids will die, their children
Venezuela
will
is
die.
going to be the next US state.
I made that joke yesterday when I saw when Trump said we are going to administer Venezuela. I'm like, he's going to become the 51st state of America
Yeah.
before Greenland and Canada. First Venezuela, then Greenland, then Canada. The new American East India Empire. I don't know what you call it. I'm not sure.
Okay, so there is a question from maybe some MAGA guy. I don't know who is it. What has India done or given the world?
Respect my gamer.
Okay,
What is
not
India giving
yeah.
the world?
So
Like a lot
should
of
I
things.
should I should I
yeah,
should I
Sure.
join?
Vijita, go.
First, learn to write English, man.
Okay,
Given
so
the world.
starting
What do you
from
mean by given
language.
the world?
So India has given language to the world. India has told the world how to speak. Okay, dialect, language, grammar. You know the oldest grammar book of the world. It is Ashtadhyayi by Panini. You know the oldest existing book. It is Rigved. India has given the world theism, atheism, agnosticism. Just to say in speak in your language. Okay, have you read Nasadiya Sukta? There, India has said ki who knows, even probably God doesn't know how everything was created. So no scripture from Middle East or from your whatever Christianism, Islam has dared to speak with this much bravery. Ki even God doesn't know probably how the creation happened. But it came in Nasadiya Sukta, Rigveda 10.113, I guess. ठीक है तो इंडिया हैज गिवन यू स्पिरिचुअलिटी इंडिया हैज गिवन यू योर गॉड्स and 100 years ago your own European philosophers they were going gaga what the fact maybe Himalaya is the Eden garden and Jesus went to Himalaya to get spirituality. Okay, India has given zero, India has given number system, decimal system. Okay, India has
India
given
taught you how to
mathematics.
bathe. India
India
taught you how to poop. छोड़ दे भाई.
okay, okay. See, let me just finish it. See, you people are so incompetent. Okay, so that you can't run your own companies, you have to hire Indians to run your own company. So that's how incompetent you are. So what we gave it to you, so we are feeling your incompetency that you can't do anything. You are good for nothing. So you have to hire us, make our CEOs to run your companies. So that's your worth is. Okay, let's move.
And India is also bringing you out of your habit with your tissue papers. Okay, all the spring jets that you are recently seeing in your toilets, those are actually Hindu concept of keeping yourself clean from your poop. 100 years ago, your whatever Queen Elizabeth, she used to poop beside. I mean, there's a pot beside her bed. She used to poop there and not wipe her ass. Okay, so this is what your kings and queens and all these people have done. Your elites, they did not know how to wash or how to wipe their ass after pooping.
Can I just say
Safe paper, use water.
Okay. Hold, Anand, go ahead.
one thing about what he just said. I am beyond ignorant. I'm sorry. You can either be ignorant or not ignorant. You can't be beyond ignorant. Okay, there's just either you're ignorant or it's a binary concept, right? So you can't be beyond it. Like I don't know what is beyond ignorant. There must be some English word for that. But okay, maybe someone needs to learn
उसने
their
कुछ
language better.
बहुत ज्यादा स्पिरिचुअलिटी पढ़ ली है,
चलो
इसीलिए
मुझे निकलना
बियॉन्ड
होगा। गुड
इग्नोरेंट
बाय
चला गया।
एवरीवन। गुड बाय एवरीवन, बाद में मिलते हैं, ठीक है? मुझे थोड़ा निकलना होगा।
Okay. Anyway, we are also
बाय।
finishing up.
हाँ हाँ, बाय बाय, चलो
But I
बाद में
would I
बात
would
करते
love I would love to bring fellow MAGA people and fellow and if you're an Islamist from Pakistan, please bring them along. I remember when the your great sage who started your community told you to clean your butt with 3 stones for cleanliness. That's one thing, and he also taught you that any standing water for more than 30 minutes was clean water. Okay, that is another important thing that he very clearly stated. And frequently, that standing water used to have dead dogs, people's dirty clothes. All that stuff was dumped in that standing
Okay,
water for
okay, it's
30
fine.
minutes and they used to drink from the top. Okay,
No
so
need to be too explicit.
I know that we need to understand how clean that water was. Beautifully clean water. And he used to pee into a jug, right? And his followers, the Sahabas, used to go drink from that jug and say, "This is such great thing. It healed my illnesses." So I would love to know how clean and beautiful these two cultures were. Thank you so much.
Okay. Last words. Last word before we say goodbye. We have a 7:30 p.m. We have a one more podcast coming. I need to make it live. That is caste in Germany. So we're going to today expose the caste in Germany today. We had exposed Japan. Today is a time for caste in Germany. So we will see how caste existed in Germany. 7:30 p.m. tonight. Yeah. Last words to anyone who want to speak.
Safe paper, use water. That is
Yes,
my only
exactly.
suggestion to the people. Okay.
Okay. So thank you everybody. See
Namaskar.
you at
Bye-bye.
7:30 p.m.
See you.
To expose caste in Germany. Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
Yes, sure.
जय श्री राम।